Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time once again for the hottest action. ASL is back. Term number 2, week number 1, and we're excited to be here. I'm your host, AR. Joining me is the beautiful, the wonderful Ultradism, and we are down bad to get into the action today.
Oh man, it has been too long since term number 1. We had thrilling victories at the end there, and now the dust starts to settle. We have gotten ourselves our Premier Division coming up later on today, but we start the action again with all of these schools fighting it out with that AGC LAN up for grabs sitting in Cape Town at the end of August.
I mean, last year was an absolute blast with AGC. These guys know now what they're playing for, that LAN at UCT later in July, I believe, or August, depending on exactly when we get that timing going. But Premier Division will come later. We will see these pros go at it. They off the scale with it. On ASL, they gun for it. All gas, no brakes with it. You know what I mean? But first, we got to go ahead with an open division, Alt.
Open Division is still fun, right? There's still schools signing up for the first time ever, even now as late as term number 2. And so there are a couple of stars, mega stars in the making, as AR loves to say, that have just joined in. Maybe this is their first time to get some competitive experience. Maybe this is the first time you guys are tuning in because you didn't realize ASL does this. And we do this not just today, 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We bring you a total of 4 Fortnite lobbies, and we like to sprinkle in some other games there, Rocket League, Valorant, all of the good action here. And all of this, of course, made possible thanks to ASA in Education. So big shout out to them. And AR, I mean, we've done this, 2-3 years now where we've gotten to see these guys. The thing that stands out to me time after time is that these kids hit new heights every season.
Yeah, I mean, this is personally my 3rd year doing this with you, Alton. Every single time we come back over here, we put our faces on the screen, we go ahead and watch these, like you said, megastars in the making. It surprises me. It takes me so much to see what these guys are capable of. I mean, we've got teams that are in primary school over here competing within this. And they going into these leagues of getting to that LAN. And of course, for many of them, it's their first LAN. Or well, last year would have been their first LAN. Same thing for this year. It's going to be a lot of new faces over there where these school kids that are playing Fortnite in ASL get to meet the pros that they watch all the time, that they want to be like, that they play like, and they'll meet and greet them. They'll go ahead, get some advice from them even, and push them to the next level. We saw that last year. I'm excited to see it this year again.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up because it's always been like, we're just playing Fortnite online. When that LAN actually rolled around, the eyes just widened. The world opened up for these youngsters getting to play on their own LAN and then having the opportunity, like you say, to rub shoulders, play against their heroes. And it meant so much to the heroes as well, them realizing that they're making such an impact. So it has become a real, there's stakes to play for, big stakes right now. And so all of these guys are taking it seriously, and it reflects in their gameplay, AR. We've seen 1v3 clutches. We've seen teams refining their skills, playing so well together, keeping that communication open. And of course, as every new season releases, these guys are able to refine it within a matter of hours, it seems. But we waste no time, ladies and gentlemen. We jump into our first of the 2 lobbies here for the Open Division, and the island awaits.
I mean, you also talk about how this game changes. Guess what, Alt? This game is going to change in like 2 weeks again when a whole new update drops, a whole new season. And it's going to bring something that, you know, these players are going to either love or hate. There's no in between of it. It's going to be Star Wars themed. That means we're going to see lightsabers. That means we're going to see the Force, perhaps. And who knows exactly how these players are going to wrap around all of these new things. But one more time over this beautiful island. The vaults are still active. The black markets are still here. There's been a couple changes here and there between the times that we were busy with Term 1 and starting now on week 1 of Term 2. Scorpion is now on the island. Yes, we've seen Sub-Zero's combat kit get used a little bit throughout Term 1. We've gotten to see the skin as well on some of these players, but now we have Scorpion as well. Scorpion's combat kit is here, has a little bit of a grappling hook. You can go ahead and pull your opponents towards you, but at the same time, it's a melee kit. So I don't really think we're going to see a lot of players use it. maybe just for a little bit of fun here and there. But I mean, when you say the stakes are this high, you're going to be gunning for those top positions.
Gunning, I think, is the name of the game, right? Is over the last couple of seasons, we have seen those collab items be a little bit underpowered, so people are not really relying on them as much, just going for the weapons that they know and they love. And there are some big weapons that have come into this right now. Of course, if you take out someone like Fletcher Kane, the wolf boss waiting in here, you manage to grab that mythic the mythic double down pistol. Of course, medallion from him as well that increases your sprint speed and allows you to bash people while sprinting. We've seen people using that to, take down builds or knock people off the map, and knocking people off the map, of course, as well with that kneecapper baseball bats. That one is fun, and we've always wanting to see someone knock someone off a cliff, guaranteed fall damage, and a really nice way also increases your sprint speed. So you can see the map pretty open and spread out. By this stage in the game, AR, it's not surprising to see everyone locked in with these uncontested, regular drop spots that they love.
No, absolutely. And I mean, black markets are always going to be sought after now, at least for these next couple of weeks before season reset. And you can see Magic Moss is home to a team by that black market as well. These players have now gotten a chance, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand, Alt. These players have now gotten a chance to play in their spare time. Okay, we've just had a long weekend. They've gotten to go ahead, break into these vaults, do all of these kooky stuff. Now that they have done that, they surely have leveled up one of the key cards in their inventory. Let me give you a little bit of a reminder if you've forgotten what the key cards are. It started off with a common rarity, a grey rarity. The more you broke into vaults and armored vehicles and stuff like that, it leveled up. These players now should have it in the gold keycard variant, which means if they go into that secret room, which we just saw on screen, where you can get the exotics and stuff, there is a chest that can only be opened with that keycard. If you have a gold keycard, that gives you immediately a dilbit. The dilbits obviously allow you to buy things from black markets like the mythics and the exotics, which means if these players go ahead and play it right and they have those keycards, we should be seeing a lot of high-tier weapons in the early stages of the game. And we see it right now with Prime and the rest of the squad trying to stop this armored vehicle and get the mythic from within it.
Yeah, it's not just mythics, it's also the boons that are available. The most powerful one to me, AR, has to be that vulture boon that reveals when an enemy is eliminated anywhere on the map. You can start planning out your third parties. And like we see, we've seen these armored vehicles in the past before where teams want to grab it, not just for the loot inside it, but actually having that mobile fortress is so good to play against it. But we see the contention coming out here. The team that was threatening out there is now under some pressure themselves. Chung's Plague there, amazing name, coming out and putting some great damage in against their opponents. And look at the efficiency that comes out. Even while you've got an enemy in sight, you're making sure to always do that homework. Pick up the materials because that becomes so important later. But the other team is not going to let you have all the free space that you want.
Ooh, and the Chungus Among Us getting taken down to one shield and forced to back up a little bit. Scar getting scarred with those shots. Backing up a little bit as well to pop those minis. Those mid smokes are still in the game. And of course, Alt, we got to go ahead and remind the beautiful people watching. It is going to be kills and placements that feed into the points for this.
Oh, kills and placements. We say it every season, and it really does come out to a lot. We've seen so many people, even when there's just a single person left towards the last couple of zones, they rat it out, they find their bush, and they manage to just score those extra couple of placement points, which I'd love to see. Heading to the northwest, though, two teams right next to each other, and names that we've seen time and time again. DJ Fishy Plays coming in here with Rimzozo. Again, going to be adding up to those mats. They've got to worry about the other team there down on Whiffy Wharf, but they seem to be aware of them, just constantly keeping that eye trained towards that. Even the runaway, the flee towards the center of the island, going to be impeded by another squad.
Yeah, Flashy has that baseball bat that you mentioned earlier. And these teams are duos in a trio lobby, and we talk about the numbers advantage all the time. Alt, how it makes things difficult, but not impossible. I mean, you mentioned it at the start of the stream. We've seen 1v3 clutches. We've seen it with a 1 HP clutch on top of that. It's not impossible. You just got to play it right. And, I mean, great camera work over here. We see that team starting to rotate as well. Whiffy Wharf has become a sort of a love spot as of recently. At the end of term one, a lot of teams were landing in this upper north areas and ignoring those black markets or those vaults that are kind of down south. And speaking of black markets, we've got a battle for the black market down south in the meadows. And Chris and the rest of the squad, one of the teams, as they are in the beautiful field of flowers, just watching and listening to the gunfire in the distance. And there is a knock going on as well. The twin mag assault rifle is back. Hit scan more powerful than what we've seen before. One of the most powerful hit scan guns, I should say. Of course, that was there towards the end of term one as well. Boda right now watches as that clip gets taken by TikTok Red Tech, which will probably go on TikTok as well. Boda, though, no ammo in that assault rifle. We'll have to find some over here. They have that black market, but they also got to be wary of that other team. In fact, it looks like that team's actually choosing to rotate towards that golden llama and maybe to that other vault.
I don't think that's a bad idea. You don't want to give it away right now. And when Ridtake picks up that hat trick all by themselves, I mean, the teammates were there for support the whole way through it, but it's such a good execution. Maybe that is not the fight you want to take. So we do lose our first trio in there, all three going down quite quickly. And here, a fight on the bridge just to secure this armored vehicle. It's taken a battering. The team's going to be excited to be able to walk away with this. Also starting to stock up that inventory really nicely. Get a couple of nice legendaries between the squad. And doing a good job as well of just spreading the love between them.
And they do manage to pick up that mythic pistol. I think there's a little bit of lag going on there for Conrad. Unfortunately, they picked up the mythic pistol as well, which is a very underutilized gun. I will say that. It does so much damage, but people often don't pick it up because it only has 12 bullets. As we look down south, back to that little fight that we saw, but it does get taken down. Just like that, we're in a 2v2 situation, I believe, and Red has that mythic Midas drum gun, and that's just a cleanup right there from the squad. That is beautifully done. That Midas drum gun is going to prove very, very valuable towards the end game. Of course, it has the thermal sight on it as well. With that freaking high rate of fire, it's going to be absolutely insane to witness.
Well, it seems like the team knows who to put that on because Ridtake picking up the second hat-trick in a row, up to 6 kills already in this beginning. And the first two teams all claimed by a single opponent is massive. Great start here for the season. Not sure which school that's from. Would love to hear it out. So if you guys are sitting in Twitch chat, get involved. Let us know. Cheer for your squads. They are here. They are thriving on your support. We want to know who is going to come out, the victors here. As we head towards that mid-game, probably going to slow down a little bit as it always does. It's not a completely full lobby, and there's still 12 teams left, but we often see AR so often that we last out with, 10 teams towards the 7th or 8th zone?
Yeah, that is usually how this goes, and on top of that, the chaos of everyone trying to rotate, the builds everywhere. I mean, people getting blocked in by the opponent's builds because there's 3 other teams surrounding them in a tiny little area that has maybe, 2 trees of cover, sometimes just the ocean, which we've seen earlier in Term 1. It's absolutely insane to witness. Mad Barracuda over here, opting to have an inventory full of green weapons. Has that pump and dump as well, which it's a love or hate weapon, depending on how good your hit scan aim is, how quickly you can track, and how good you can track, I should say. It's a decent duo combo weapon, but when there's things like the Infiltrator pump that they've added back into the game with some buffs, it now does around 180 headshot, which is insane amounts of damage. Trying to compete with the Sentinel pump, you want to have those instead. And Zen spotting out a couple teams by the little shrine over here, and they're just going to sneak up right now. It seems like Conrad is back in the game, avoiding that lag, and has dropped off that mythic pistol over to Aiden.
I like this, and you can see it there. Such a clear indication for the team. We've talked about the cohesion that is required from these squads. The fact that they ping it out, the fact that they're slowly, methodically working their way down towards their opponents. I love to see that because they want to take the fight on their terms. You've gotten your equipment, your guns in the right hands of your team. You've gotten yourself the best start to the game. Now's the time to start putting on those frag points that you want. And the team has got that go call. They're constantly keeping their eyes up, closing that distance down just 100 meters out, going from tree to tree, making sure to not get caught out in the open. And the volley starts to fire down.
And you know what I love about this right now? 2 of the 3 members on this team have Chug Jugs. And in addition to that, one even has the returning Slurp sprites. Yo, can we get a W in the chat for those Slurp sprites? And that's the pistol in action. Very, very powerful. You can see the distance. It still manages to go ahead and crack a player mid-air. That's how powerful it is. And it's such an underutilized weapon. I love that they are actually using it. The cones get put down to go ahead and slow down Chung. And that is going to go ahead and be an elimination for this team. 1 on the board right now as they push forth to get some more KP within this game.
Man, I cannot actually believe the effective range of that pistol. When you think of pistols in most games, you're talking about like 20, 30 meters. These guys from 70, 80 meters out putting in such quick damage. And then so often we see it. You start with a decent long-range weapon. Sometimes it's a sniper. Sometimes it's a decent AR. In this case, it is the pistol. And then you follow it up while closing the distance and getting a couple of good shotgun blasts in there. So claim 1 kill on the side, as the rest of the team seems to have managed to at least get themselves out. Ooh. Cold Ghost, though, under pressure.
Under pressure, indeed. Spots one out on the hill. Immediately scopes in, fires back, but that angle that they have is just insane. And I mean, look who it is. Tremble before Red. As now, more kills will go ahead and get added on. What's that? I think 8 right now. It is 8. The only member on the team that has kills and is giving 8 kills total right now, alone. That is insane right now, and we're still fairly early on in this game. 26 players, 11 teams, still alive. This could easily be a 15-kill game for this team.
Redek is proving himself to be armed and dangerous right now, putting up a legendary performance. And even though they've lost their teammate, there's plenty of time to still get those reboot vans back in the action. It's going to be a hard press, of course, as everyone shoves closer together. You don't want to give away your position like that. Maybe you want to bait in the team. It's all up to your individual playstyle. Mad Barracuda in a bad spot, though. That bush is not going to add any sort of cover as the descent down the sides of the cliffs of madness here comes to the detriment of both of them. Barracuda and Gamer get Diamond. I believe that's the name. Both of them getting claimed out there as we lose another squad.
I mean, that's the beauty of a battle royale like Fortnite. It can go from just pure silence to pure chaos in a matter of seconds. And with the loot pool that we have right now in game, it makes it even more chaotic. I mean, up north, where Conrad and the rest of the squad are, there's 2 other teams still over there, which means there's ample chances to go ahead and have some more engagements. And you know, we might have an engagement right now as Chris and Nobody just walking through Magic Mosses. Little do they know that they're walking into a team that is surrounding this building right now. And from what I can see on the minimap, is actually in the basement. And they hear the footsteps right now. They hear them in that black market. So immediately they start crouching and they start sneaking.
Oh, I love that. Again, just taking the gunplay at their own timings. Oh, and the shots through the trees. What kind of angle is that? You put in 70 damage and your opponent has to flee towards the hill. No shields left. Now you can start doing the health damage. That picks up another 30 to add to that tally. And desperate flee now trying to get back towards the teammates. But this is how often do we see that? That lucrative loot is just too tempting, and while you're preoccupied by that, there's a team waiting to pounce as you now take towards the Storm. Don't know if you're going to have the time to really heal up. The Storm not ticking for too much right now, but it's FPS Frosty looking to close this out once and for all. Does manage to get the build above, and it just takes one little jumping headshot over the top. Nobody is out.
I mean, Frosty decided right then and there that it was clobbering time and pushed up, but now you go ahead and look at this. More action coming through, more bullets flying through the air. Frosty trying to desperately hold that ball, trying to edit through with that pump and dump, but to no avail. You're in that 1v3 situation, and that is going to be Zen claiming that elimination zone now. Shrinking in. The island did spawn. There is a team on top of it, but nowhere near that zone whatsoever. Can't really be used for height advantage right now, let alone that redeploy. But I mean, we can see where the zone is sort of centering right now, around a gas station. And from here, a lot of different places that it can go to. It can pull back up to that east side mountain, or it could go back towards that island. I mean, we've seen how cruel the zone can deal.
Yeah, that thing can traverse basically like half the map at this stage, and I think a lot of the team's going to be hoping for that. Aside from this mountain, not a lot of cover on this side of the map. Big open fields, and that river can always play havoc with little hills here or there. can provide an advantage for those looking to play a bit more of a sneaky game. But otherwise, it's really just a shooting gallery for any team that sets themselves up with a good position as we close in on brutal boxcars with Prime Aiden, Prime Conrad, and Zen Typo. They've already started with the taste of blood. They want to exacerbate this even more. Mr. Sir Toast and Bulhan, Vihan. They're the last two members of their squad. They've lost Frosty, of course, and they're just kind of trying to camp out there, maybe wondering if their opponents know that they're here.
And the sad part about that is that card is quite deep into Storm right now. It's going to be really tough to go ahead and get card back to bring back their teammate, to get that reboot off. It's going to be very, very tough. Even if they survive this fight, for the most part, the rest of this game is going to be duo versus trios. And we talk about numbers advantage all the time and how you don't want to be caught in that situation. It's going to make things tough, but luck may just be on their side as the zone says, hey, this is a team game. You go get your boy's card back. You go to a reboot van and you yell born again as you go ahead and make yourself a 3-man squad one more time. But CBK right now are getting shot at. Uzumaki and Engi, names we've seen before, trying to go ahead and heal with that goal splash, has to now retreat into a bush. They were hoping and planning for the zone to stay around this gas station area, but to no avail. They have to move all the way up north again.
Yeah, and a quick highlight to CBK team. Remember, we said that some of these teams are... here we go. Just the Nikapo tries for that shot. And CBK, these are a group of primary school players, and yet they're still showing up into the big leagues. Doing a good job so far, but it's all up to Uzumaki now. Can they get out of this? Not the greatest of inventory, and like you say, that reboot van available, but the zone pushes ever further north. Conrad and the squad are going to be very happy with the positioning of it as everyone has to push through. On the other side of the map, Ridtech, he and Darthbringer are going to be looking to now lay waste as they cross the long distance between it.
Yeah, and Rid still down low there as well, looking to get some more eliminations. There's that Gilded Eye Midas drum gun as well that we saw in action over there. The thermal site giving the information to Rid that there is players up top. Meanwhile, they've gotten themselves up to 11 kills. Darth and Boda getting a couple kills of their own. Rid still sitting healthily on that 8 kills and has that med kit to go ahead and heal from the storm damage right now. Of course, it's only doing around 2 per tick for now. We'll get a bit more hectic. Capcom Kian does get knocked in that kill feed as well, and Plushy getting shot at, getting a very, very heavily damaged as well. We go over to Aiden running through the bush and tries to go ahead and baseball bat, but that player has moved out of the way, and that pistol ult. That pistol just turns you into the judge, jury, and executioner of your opponents.
I absolutely love that, and you can see that quick adaptation. If the player's waiting here and holding steady in the bush, I'm going to take him out. Pops out the other side, realizes he's making a run for it, quickly to the pistol, makes no mistake on the aim, and that's another claim there. CBK takes another shot here. What's amazing to me right now, AI, and we're pushing towards, there's still 7 squads available, but almost no trios still up there, seeing the thermite burning through these builds and giving an opportunity for Scar to try and find an angle through there. Again, so patient right now, never keeping that tunnel vision on their opponents, keeping their head on a swivel because you don't know where that danger is going to come from. Spots one behind him and actually lays waste to the shields.
That's a lot of damage over on that player down south, and you know, must be wondering, where am I getting shot from? I know May the 4th is around, but why am I getting Obi-Wan right now? I'm on the low ground. They are clearly on the high. Tries to heal up immediately. But a point I want to make over there, the thermite being used on your opponent's builds, I love that. We don't see that often whatsoever. We know the thermite's used to break into the vaults, break into the armored vehicles. We never see it get used on players' builds. And it just does so much pressure on your opponents. It basically starts that supernova in a box where they can't move, and if they try to move out and they run out of builds, you can easily beam them. I love that play.
It's so good right there, and you don't miss after that, right? At that stage, you've got that pressure on your opponents. You don't have to waste your ammo. You can keep a full clip, and as the build goes down, then you start putting in. And when you're in that build, it's really you against the world at that stage. I mean, what are you even supposed to do there? You're really caught between a rock and a hard place, and your opponents are ready to bring the clobbering time.
No, absolutely. I mean, if I'd understand it completely if the Avatar mythics were still in here. Maybe try to waterbend, put the fire out. Not in this case anymore. Demzozo trying to shoot that player that moves into the bush. We are down to 7 teams, 14 players. And again, first game of the day. It is a bit of a slow one. There was that update that, it was fairly big. I think Broadcast told us it was, what, 17 gigs, if I'm not mistaken, for them. So, a pretty big update. Understandable that not a lot of players could have gotten that update in time. But there's the baseball bat securing that place for their own. Player just hiding that bush. Here's the steps approaching, sees the player and says, no, no, no. There's many bushes on this map. This one is mine. Get away. Immediately knocks them back and keeps some sort of safety. But I think they may have gone down over there, unfortunately. But down to 6 teams now, 13 players. Who's going to walk away with the first victory royale of term number 2?
And you can see the speed that these guys are prioritizing their rotations with. They have to get into these closing zones faster and furious right now. It is pure chaos at every stage. And the guys are really prioritizing. Do you get that build up early so that you can turn and put pressure? Or do you try and make an early rotation? Unfortunately, there's always going to be eyes waiting for you. Vihan goes down. And that's the other squad out for the count. Down to 5 teams left. Zen Typo and the rest of the squad still looking so healthy. Everyone alive. They managed to get themselves 9 kills to the betterment right now. They can put on all the pressure on their opponents.
And the interesting thing that I've noticed, Alt, is there's not much mythics going around. There was only 2 that we've seen. There's 1 laying on the ground right now. Aiden had the other. Unfortunately, Zen gets taken out by the storm over there. This is a storm that you do not want to be caught in. But we've only seen 2 mythics on this island so far. I mean, it's something that you want to be going for. It's real firepower compared to any other weapons that you're going to find on the map. I'm surprised that no other players really went for any of those mythics besides the Midas drum gun and that mythic pistol as well. And I mean, there's Aiden with that mythic pistol showing why you want it. It does so much damage, but on top of that has 2 chug jugs in inventory for a heal off as well.
This is the big part, right? How much did you manage to plan for this? How many builds do you still have in hand? We see Conrad and the deficit of that, unfortunately. So it's going to be difficult to try and keep any sort of advantageous position in the rest of the squads. How much heal do you have? Ooh. Every bit of damage you take now is critical, but only when it takes 2 shots like that, that is how you shoot.
Absolutely. That Sentinel shotgun still so powerful and definitely a must-have in the inventory. We're down to 3 teams, ladies and gentlemen. 5 players left within this. This is where insanity starts to settle in, Alt. This is where we see mats matter right here. You need to have your materials. You need to not waste them. You need to try to get that high ground like Aiden has right now. I mean, two what you would call close-range guns, being a pistol and a shotgun, and it has made most of the kills coming from like 70 meters or so, and now pushing up close with that shotgun, building ever so quickly and actually trying to box the opponent into the storm to take some storm damage. Sees one up high, drops down, tries to build quickly, a window gets edited, tries to shotgun a weakened wall, but now just building in, trying to stay safe within this building. It's Aiden that is alone right now. It's do or die for Aiden. Has that purple shotgun, still that mythic pistol, which could be that game changer, and that 2 chug jugs with around 70 and 80 use on it respectively to go ahead and heal up if need be. Silent Storm trying to take the height right now and look for opponents down low, beaming them like Obi-Wan would to Anakin. Now just playing it a bit slow, sees where they are. 88 with the shotgun, and further 19 as well. A further 16 on another player. Scar gets taken out though by Sleeks, and Silent Storm now getting cracked. 58 HP, has those minis, has that medkit as well, but probably does not have time to go ahead and prioritize using both. Meanwhile, Aiden has made their way up top. Now just building some cones, sees where one is very close, jumps over onto the builds, trying to keep the ultimate high ground, building above so your opponents can't get that height. It's beautifully done, but there's only 32 builds left on Aiden right now. Needs to try to play this out for a heal off or wait for that prime opportunity to strike out of nowhere. Now drops down just a little bit over here, building a little bit of a quarter fort, little memory. Edits down those stair spots where they are, misses that shotgun shot, unfortunately, and now with both of them right below you, it's tough, but goes in with the baseball bat, no fear, but When you're fighting two over there, it's unfortunate. Flashy does get taken down. There was enough damage to turn this into a 1v1 situation. Silent Storm on the low ground right now has the hit scan assault rifle and is going to try to cause a little bit of fall damage, but the baseball bat jump comes through and Sleeks hits the shotgun shot as they get the first victory royale. 5 kills and a victory royale as a duo alt.
I love the fact that a duo comes out. We rarely get to see that, but they co-opt up perfectly. It was co-op time all the way to the end, and it was an exceptional finish. Such a tactical ending towards that game. I loved how Aiden tried to do that. He was lost alone, so he just played a good little footsie game, dancing around his opponents, trying to get them to weaken each other out, keeping that high ground for as long as possible. But eventually it all came crumbling down around them, went for the aggressive play with the baseball bat, had both of them in range, actually, and it was swinging away at them, but it was just too little too late. Couldn't get those confirmations, and a great bit of use of the high ground at the end there from Sleeks to pop down on the opponents, get those last couple of shotgun shots in. But I mean, this is what ASL is all about. We are here to bring you the most exciting endings to these games, and game number 1 certainly does not disappoint.
I mean, you got to be thinking that if we had a big swing instead of the quick rapid-fire swings from that baseball bat, it may have ended differently over there. Maybe fall damage would have come into play from that big swing. But Sleeks, however, literally clutching up in the final moment, saw them dropping down with that shotgun shot as well. And the fact that a duo wins that, we talk about how it's not impossible. It's just very, very difficult to win with a numbers disadvantage. It proves it right there. But they said from the beginning, it's us against the world, and we are going to go for that victory royale. That's only game number 1 for today. We have 3 more lobbies, 1 more in the open, and then 2 for our Premier Division as well. So don't touch that dial. We're going to take a short intermission while we get the next lobby ready. You guys go get some popcorn, get some drinks, because the action is only going to continue here on ASL.
Hi, my name is Sander Esterhuizen.
My name is Christian.
My name is Richard André.
We are from Gauteng, Johannesburg, Hoërskool die Anker.
The games are definitely challenging. We have a lot of different players with different skills. They are very good. Some of them are poor at the game, but it's very challenging. I say it's hard, difficult.
Van hulle was lekker, van hulle was moeilik. Daar was baie kompetisie. Daar was verskillende spelers, van die spelers was baie goed. Ek het dit geniet, dit was lekker.
Yes, it was extremely fun. Very grateful for the opportunity we had. It was very intense and there was certainly a lot of competition, but yeah, it was just amazing. Yes, this is our first LAN experience ever, so we are extremely grateful for the opportunity.
Yes, this is me and my team's first LAN experience ever, and it's quite different, very different. A lot of people around us can hear what they are communicating to the teammates, and it's definitely more pressure than at home. We're comfortable.
Ja, dit is my eerste LAN experience. Dit is baie anderste, baie groter. Ek het dit nie verwag nie. Die mense is nice, almal.
You can feel the environment. I mean, the people are very nice in it, but you can feel it's not the same at home, like on your own setup. Everything just feels like different, but it was good.
Ons het saam in creative geoefen, ons het zone wars teen mekaar gespeel. Ek en my span het in 'n trios gaming gegaan. Ons het ons strats uitgewerk en ja.
At home, we play together a lot. Creative mode, public games against other people, just making sure we know what we have to do as a team.
I definitely did do some mentality stuff. I've motivated myself, and that's how I played.
Yes, we definitely gained a lot of experience from this, and next time when we come back, we will be better than ever and hopefully grab that first place trophy.
Ons het baie goeters geleer om saam te speel nuwe strats, wat waar om te land. Dit was baie lekker. Ons het dit geniet, ja.
Yes, I learned that I doubted my opponents. I thought that I was this guy placing first, but no. Yeah, I learned that I should not be cocky, lower my ego, and definitely train harder, play more. Highlight was definitely coming third place in the nationals and celebrating it at home.
The highlight, I would say, is just meeting a lot of new people and all of the commentators and just having a great time with everyone.
Dat ons derde kon gekom het in die ASL.
My hopes for AGC 25 is to see a lot more people joining the community, to meet new people, and just have a great experience together.
My hopes are coming first place, obviously, and probably training and playing a lot of games with my fellow teammates.
That we can come first.
Thank you all for your support, and thank you to you all that doubted us.
Sterkte daai kant. Almal kan dit doen as julle julle harte in dit sit.
For my school, I would say we tried our best. We were extremely grateful. We were chosen for this opportunity, and we did our best. And next year, we will certainly come back and be on top.
Enjoying the games? ASL has been growing exponentially for the last 2 years. Now, term 1, and just in the high school league, we have 182 different registered schools, 1,123 students all participating. If you want your school, company, or anything featured on the streams, in the articles, drop an email at schools@acgl.gg. This could be the perfect place for your brand to live. But if you're not looking to be involved with the high schools, we still have the primary school and university leagues. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to get involved in esports.
We couldn't keep you away for that long. We are ready here for the grand finale of this first opening division here for the ASL. It is week number 1 of Fortnite action. Yeah, we got so many weeks up for grabs as we head towards that ASL land. And I'm sure during the break, you got to see a couple of little clips for that just to whet your appetite there. So if you guys are not, you don't want to wait any longer. I think it's time to bring on the chaos.
No, absolutely. I mean, we know what these guys are playing for. They are hyped for it. AGC later this year. They want to be at that LAN. Last year was an absolute phenomenon of a LAN being AGC over in UCT Cape Town. These guys won it all. And with placement points and kills feeding into that, we have a leaderboard as well. From that first game, it's absolutely incredible to witness, and broadcast keeps leveling things up. Over there, Trio 1 is going to be the players of Sleeks and Pine. They do get that first victory over there. In second is going to be Aiden and the rest of the squad over there. And as well in third over there is Rid Tech and the squad. And we saw Rid popping off with those 8 kills. Had the most out of the entire lobby and claims that third spot for the team.
I love the fact that Trio 1 was actually our duo from the first game. So big shout out to them. And then look at the number of schools that we recognize. Wildcorp coming in there third. They are consistently coming out with so many teams. RHB there. I think that's Rondebosch. They are a quality school that's put a lot towards their esports, and I love it. Delta Park, another one. And they're even our primary schools, the Knights from CBK, coming in there with a good number of points halfway through the lobby there. So I know week 1 tends to be a little bit scattered for most of these schools when they set a 17 gig update. It also makes life a little bit difficult, but a big showing so far from these youngsters, and they're bringing the skill, man. It consistently astounds me that this is the open division. This isn't even the guys who have proven themselves to be the elites.
No, absolutely. And I mean, term 1, we talked about it. We had 180 schools signing up for ASL over multiple titles. And we often always say it, how many titles we do. We do Rocket League, Fortnite, Valorant. Sometimes we have a little bit of Overwatch going on. Sometimes we have Brawlhalla. It's absolutely insane to see what these guys can do as the future of esports for South Africa, because this is a stepping stone. As big as AGC is, it's a stepping stone for these guys. It's the first step that they can make to becoming professional players, to joining organizations, to getting their names overseas in big tournaments that we see going on almost monthly. It's a stepping stone for them to do great things, and that's what we continue with in our second game here of the Open. And after that, we do have the Premier Division coming at you live over here on the channel, and this is going to go on for a long couple of weeks. So I suggest you hit that follow button and that notification bell as well, because we do this 3 times a week: Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. It's absolutely incredible to witness the future of esports.
And it really is the future of esports, like you say. Is we've got the first competitive experience, which leads to the first LAN. And what was amazing to me at that LAN especially was the number of parents who came out to watch their youngsters play. I mean, they're really starting to see that this is something to be taken seriously. And I think right now these young students are going to be taking it as seriously as they can. The last attempt for them here in week number 1, with 14 squads joining us once more, is everything to play for.
Absolutely. And you know, we didn't see it in the last game. Hopefully we see it in this one. I want to see a bit more mythics on the board. We only saw 2 in that last game, being the pistol and the Gilded Eye drum gun. I want to see more. There's so much variety that Epic Games has put into this game right now, with so many different types of weapons. We've got the mythic mammoth pistol, which I haven't seen. It may have been vaulted for some sakes over here. We see the collateral assault rifle, an absolute beast of a gun, high fire rate, a real firepower, almost amplifying any damage that you put out. It's incredible. We see the drum gun that we saw. We see the mythic org that you can get out of the armored vehicles. There's so much variety for these guys to actually have. And speaking of variety, it looks like these guys don't want a variety of places to land. They all want to go down to that factory and see what they can find over there. You know, maybe a little bit of a decision making out here from Chris. Now making a little bit of a spin, deciding otherwise, and looks like they are going to land on the outskirts as well. Smart choice. Remember, you want your placements as well as your eliminations.
Oh, Red taking the squad there. An unwelcome waiting there at the ground. And already one of the teammates there of Scar has been taken down at the beginning of their Silent Storm hits the deck, and hits the deck hard, apparently, into the waiting arms there. So certainly a great way for Bora and the rest of the team. But problem solved. They managed to get themselves on the board, and they're doing it their way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am actually curious who landed at this POI second, because if it was the other team landing first, that is that's unfortunate over there. You're landing, the guns have been picked up that quickly. Maybe they were in buildings, you didn't see them. They heard the gliders, they pushed out, and you are going to go ahead and get eliminated very, very quickly. But right now, in a 1v1 over here, the box getting built up, the war's getting edited. But very, very low. Has that sentinel pump, no builds right now, and just running circles around this player. Just Tokyo drifting around the 1x1. Gets knocked, but Red right there to go ahead, get the elimination. They currently have 2 on the board, looking strong. That's our first team eliminated.
I like how Bora played that, actually, just making sure to keep an eye and keeping their opponent corralled in there, and bought the time for the teammates to come. And it was like, friends, gather around. Like, we can take them together. It wasn't just a 1v1. It was a stall. And here, AR, we finally get to see it. Someone breaking into the vault. And you talked about it earlier. This has been in the game for long enough that these guys know all the efficiencies towards you. You can see them hitting those bright orange spots to just break down this. And they take full control of the vault.
Yeah, I mean, working together to break it as well. Together to victory, they go into this vault now. They get those dilberts. They get all the gold they can possibly manage to fit into their pockets. And then they immediately now have to go ahead and push towards that black market. That's the rotation, and it may be a very predictable rotation, so you might always have people holding you out from that because they see you landing to the POI where the vault is, so they'll just wait by the black market. We see that in Mask Meadows. They were trying to go to the factory, but they rerouted themselves back into the meadows. Is that the plan, or were they just trying to run away from a fight?
I think running away from a fight this early in the game is worth it. You know, we talk about everything from the numbers advantage that comes in later. You want to be you want to be free to be able to get up your mats, to get up your weapons. Unless you're feeling really strong with your competition or your composition right now in terms of guns and equipment, you don't want to really be taking a fight. Also, if you can get a good jump on your opponents, that's a great way to start. But if you don't have it completely in your control, rather get out there, just carry on going and live to fight another day.
And we see Viper and Ghost, another duo. And, you know, you got to be looking at the duo that won the first game. And it's got to be motivating you as other duos as well to push as hard as you possibly can, to play it smart and go for that victory. And sure enough, we see that team from Mask Meadows go up to that black market, try to go ahead and claim that that gilded eye drum gun in there, as well as many other things that are in this place. There, they open the door with it, and there's the drum gun right there, right for them to claim. And such fast rate of fire as well. Just goes nom 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 through bullets and just deals a heck of damage.
Oh, it's so good. And I love how they prioritize this. This is a calculated game plan right now, which is what you're expecting from people who are taking this seriously. They go, they claim their vault, they go, they get their black market. They're now ready to start putting some punishment on their opponents. And I really like to see this. You're going to get your shields up. You're going to make sure that you're ready to unleash the dragon.
Absolutely. And, you know, just deciding over here what else they want. Maybe they don't actually have enough gold. And again, the black markets, they do drain your gold quite a lot. I mean, I booted up again after a couple of days and my gold was gone just by visiting one black market. Maybe they didn't get enough from Master Meadows' vault. And that's why they're looking at those shotguns thinking, is there any place we can go ahead, get some gold, and then come back to get the upgraded gun? Because, I mean, no matter what you say, whether it's a sentinel pump or an infiltrator pump, a purple gun is always better than a gray common one.
Yep. And especially on those shotgun varieties, they've been so pivotal in every part of every season that we've had for years now, that ability to go through. We see the lineups coming out there, Caden tracking their opponents. They have no idea that Caden and the squad is here and waiting, letting them drop down to the low ground. And now you can start putting the pincer on them. Unfortunately, the tree is obfuscating their view. So they're going to have to do a little bit of a rotation around 200 meters to close that distance. But they've still got that element of surprise. Unfortunately for them, their opponents are tracking away from them. And it is a full trio, so it's not going to be an easy fight when you're not stacked up on the shields.
Yeah, and you take a look at the map right now, everyone's sort of in those same locations. I mean, for some reason, there's a team all the way far east at the docks. I didn't even know that was a POI right there. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. That may have been updated when they fixed the bridge and they brought Scorpion to the game. But a team all the way far east over there. If Zone pulls over there, that's just cruel. I'm just gonna say it right now because there's nothing but ocean over there. Meanwhile, Lucky and the rest of the squad getting a few shots thrown at them. We see Mudley's builds get taken down. Now trying to aim at them, but again, builds getting broken very, very quickly. And now it's just going to be a rotate for this team. They don't want to take that fight. They don't want to waste materials. They barely have builds. You see Lucky with only 14 builds right now. Unfortunately, Mudley gets taken down, and that's going to turn the fight in favor of the attackers.
Yeah, and this was the problem for Woodley and the rest of the squad. They were actually pincered between two teams, and it's Ridtech coming up behind them that's ready to escalate this conflict when they're least expecting it. And despite getting into the air and watching them soar, they did not get any sort of distance. And their opponents just go, all right, we'll take this fight. This is my favorite time. And now it's up to Tari. Oh, doesn't have any time in here, Tayo. It's just up to Cub right now. I don't know how lucky they're going to be at the end of this. Just a solo player left. Again, plenty of time for the reboots, but you have to worry about how much time your opponents are going to spend here, and you can see them just disappearing off towards the left.
I mean, we saw the plan from Tahir over there. He tried to stay still behind that tree, literally saying, "Don't shoot! I am Groot. I am just a tree. Do not shoot me." But literally over there, fired back, and that's the only thing that gave away position. So they knew that he was still waiting over there. They flanked, they got the shot off, they got the elimination, and now that puts a solo situation on the last remaining team. We move up top, though, to Magic Mosses. Again, a place that is heavily contested for the most part. Of course, that black market being one of the most favorable black markets on the map right now. And Izzy and Arab, they've lost Shiv right now. They are dual within this. They've got the exotic splash chug jug, or slurp chug jug, I should say, which has 400 usage on it. Absolutely insane. We've seen this in Term 1 where it's come down to that item getting someone a victory just because it has more uses. 200 more uses, I should say, than a regular chug jug.
It's so good in terms of efficiency of your inventory. It just keeps you topped up for basically the entire length of the game. And you're going to need this right now, especially when you're trying to claim a little bit of retribution against Vian and the rest of this Frosty squad. Mr. Sir Toast bringing up the third, the only one to get that kill on their opponents. And again, everyone favoring up these baseball bats. It's really interesting to see this. What's most interesting to me right now, AR, is we are seeing a level of aggression that's rare here in ASL.
I mean, it's also day one of week number 2 that we're going ahead and broadcasting this. It's I think these guys are very, very hungry right now, and that's feeding into that aggression. But also that could be the hindrance as well. I mean, what happens when you just go guns blazing, when you're literally just doing a maximum pulse of energy at your opponents? You make mistakes very, very quickly and very, very easily. Is that the best strategy right now? Yes and no. You go ahead and make a name for yourself early on. You get yourself those points early on. But I mean, if you would make one slip up over there, you're downfalling very, very quickly. I want to point out also, we saw an exotic. These guys are listening. They know that we want to see more of the exotics and mythics. We saw the exotic Hollow Twister, which fires faster the longer you shoot at it. If you have really good aim with that, you're literally yelling, "Woo! I never miss with this thing." And you get easy kills just like that. Vian, however, getting shot at, taking out a 14 HP, has to break that log. That was the only cover there, puts the wall down, but now has to back up. Has a med kit to get back up to 100 HP, but needs to rely on teammates. And there's what we're talking about. Frosty not gonna miss with that Hollow Twister. It outputs so much damage. That's a second right there. Looking for the hat trick. 42 headshot. That player's one shot. There it is. And just like that, that's what real firepower is.
Oh, that is huge. You could see that trigger discipline there. Just holds it on the angle. And when you poke out for that long, I mean, it was, what, a second that it took to chew through each of them sequentially? It's a full trio squad wipe just for him. And I absolutely love that. They're getting me grace to victory at the end of this. If they keep on with that sort of momentum, as everyone else now starts to look towards, again, a centralized zone with a lot less cover than a lot of these teams would like. And you can see the prioritization of the high ground. A couple of people starting to just watch out for the last members incoming. There is, of course, the Hurricane incoming. And now, right now, if you can try and catch anyone on that last rotation, in fact, going to take the fight to them. Ritek wastes no time, claims one, starts shooting out the other, picks up the second. Bora was there. My friends are all around, and it's 2 kills in a matter of seconds.
I mean, your friends are here to back you up just like that. We saw the Obi-Wan attempt over there from Red, but it has a teammate right below to also go ahead and clutch it up. And bear in mind, that is, we only have 11 teams still. We've only lost a couple of players right now. Not even a full 10 at this point in time. Now we've lost 10 players total as Boda goes ahead and takes out Cold Ghost. We still have 25 players within this lobby. Things are aggressive, but at the same time, it's so methodical. It's so slow. These guys are playing it with their brains and not with their brawns right now, as they are finding different angles. We saw that in the early fight against Tahir over there. Finding angles as Red now just beaming through a bush. A lot of damage output. That's like your gun has been amplified and you're enjoying that amplifier. A lot of damage up top. And we talk about high ground advantage. It's not even going to matter against Red, let's be honest.
I mean, you talked about methodical, right? That's so often what we see here, where a team will get eliminations and they waste absolutely no time. They turn their attention to someone else. And I mean, Rid and the rest of the squad, out of the 10 people eliminated, this squad's got 7 of them. They are eating right now and they are finding it yummy, yummy.
Yeah, absolutely. An island now in the circle as well. That free high ground, the free rotation for all of these players. It's going to be a position that you really, really want. And Aiden being very cautious, using that thermal to spot out if there's anyone in that armored truck. We talk about how we've seen the armored truck once before, or a couple of times before, get used. Actually, it was on the first day that we got to do ASL for this update. They use the armored vehicle as a means of transport, as a moving fortress, as you like to say. Right, they was going to use the baseball bat to push the teammates further out. A very good means of rotation, but focusing on island right now, and that's why the thermal is so good. You can spot where people are, and you can beam them even from that far away.
Oh, the distance means nothing right there. You can still track your opponents, and look again at the intensity of these, the intentionality of these teams. And I mean, there's a team waiting just below them. It's our CBK Juniors just playing a game. We love to call it the Jurassic Park strat. If you don't move, they have no idea where you are. So keeping it nice, keeping it patient, waiting for the opportunity to strike. And I mean, these guys, there's actually 3 squads within close spitting distance right now, and it all comes down to who controls this high ground. Aiden turns. He spotted with someone bouncing on that far hill. I'm going to be able to go through there. So we go again. This time, AR, the island could prove to be a very pivotal part.
Ooh, I'm curious to see exactly what the zone is going to bring these players. If we can have a look at the map, where is that going? Right now, it looks like it's gone all the way east. It has the zone pulling away from that island, as Boda right now trying to build, adding more reinforcements down on this tree. And now just going to use it a little bit, not trying to overpeak, sees all those builds on the mountain to the left, and they're going to go ahead and join as well. Darth, however, gets absolutely lit up. Unfortunately, though, has 8 minis to go ahead and heal up. Boda just trying to gun it for the city, but now getting shot from behind as the train just choo-choos past it right where they need to go as well. It's gonna be a tough one, and we see that happening right now with Rid getting absolutely beamed. And I mean, Darth trying to take a little bit of a scenic route away from all those all that gunfire. We could the duality of man. We cut over back from Darth, and Boda's getting shot at.
Whoa.
But Darth gets taken out of there. Maybe not the duality of man.
Man, I was just about to say, I'm enjoying how these guys are balancing and juggling the aggression from their opponents. When Darth is being shot at, Rid's going to be the one returning fire and poking out, but they lose their trailing third member, and now we're getting to the point where if you go down, you're basically out for the count. So it's going to be a hard push towards the final. With still 11 teams in this, we've still only lost 10 players. These guys are being meticulous. They don't want to drop anything, but a couple of people being left behind in the storm. Rotations coming through early. There's not a lot of ground up for grabs there. Real estate is not free at this stage. And you see, Chris decides to take a swim through the water to go join up with nobody. That is a great little island if you can grab control of that, especially if the zone starts moving down. Dangerous position, though, if that zone moves upwards. Now you have to try and make a dash through the water. And with everyone moving in here, still so many trios. And poor little Cub, lucky we saw him being the last member early on in the game, still alive. And playing it very nice and comfortably, sitting quietly and minding his own business.
Yeah, and CBK squad right now. This is the second CBK squad, I should say, within this, with Plushy, Kian, and Twizzy. They're spotting out some players in the distance, marking them. You can see that, not taking any shots, not trying to waste any ammo or any builds, not trying to get into a fight early on and then be at that disadvantage later on when that zone pulls everyone in. And I mean, you talked about the zone pulling up north away from that island. It surely does that all the way to Demon's Dojo. That's going to be a mountain for these players to climb. No pun intended. It's both figuratively and literally a mountain for these players to climb. But we move over to Caden right now. We see that smoke getting thrown down for heals, but also for a little bit of cover. It makes it so difficult, depending on what skin you're wearing, to see your opponent through that smoke, or rather for your opponent to see you through that smoke, as they're just trying to put a little bit of pressure on this rotate. Zone is moving in. It's got a minute left on this little rotate that they've got to do. It is going to be doing 2 damage per tick right now as well, and Caden just choosing to chill in Storm has enough heals, actually, to get themselves back up. So looking to get any free eliminations over here.
Yeah, I love this. It's actually such a sneaky little play. You wait for your opponents to drop their guard and punish them as they come out. Can't afford to do this for too long, but does spot out their opponents. Doesn't have a lot of bullets to take towards their end game, so needs to be careful about not wasting all the resources. Does decide to now take that desperate dash out, leaving their opponents. And I believe that duo that's there, what a beautiful healing cloud there, just allows you to last out that storm. And that duo down there is our victors of the previous round, so they're playing it slow and patient. Look at what you're running into right now. That map just shows that there is just wall after wall of gunfire waiting to turn its sights on you. And it's going to be difficult to balance now your approach into this next zone.
I don't know if you noticed that as well, Alt, but Chris is sort of in a tough situation as the Sub-Zero combat kit gets an elimination over there. That is a quick elimination from the CBK duo. I will say this is the second CBK squad in this lobby as the zone moves back down. Chris is in a tough situation over there. Only has a shotgun to use. No assault rifle ammo, only 7 shots in a pistol. That's going to be very tough over there right now. It's going to be extremely tough. Lucky gets taken out. Cub Lucky, who was the solo, gets taken out by the other DBK squad. That is Twizzy right here. Has that Chug Jug in hand for heals. Has a full stack of minis right now. It is zone number 7. We can see that this zone has pulled south of Demon's Dojo. We still have 6 teams within this all.
Yeah. What was interesting is I noticed on the kill feed there, all the guys who were playing chicken in the zone, I think they all went down. Sleeks went down, and it was just because they just couldn't get back in time. It's such a fine balancing act, whether it's the materials we talk about, whether it's playing in the zone, the heals, even the ammo in this game could be a detrimental factor or determining factor for this. Now everyone, they've got themselves a pretty good idea of where the zone's going to be. Building up now on the edge of this cliff is a great place to make sure your opponents can't flank around behind you, and it gives you such nice sight lines down over the rest of the field. So a good spot here for CBK. This is the first time we've seen a trio from the school coming in here, and I think there's actually 3 of these squads out here, and they're doing wonders with it. They're turning that advantage into a relentless onslaught of hailfire damage on their opponents, burning through the bulls and just daring anyone to poke their head out.
Man, I mean, these guys woke up today and they said that they were ready to put on a show for us. And we see it right there. That's a headshot from that range. 40 damage headshot right over there. And now trying to go ahead and create a little low jump pad as well to pull that shoot a bit quicker and get a faster rotation. Look how tiny this zone has become. And scary part is, it's only going to get smaller as it moves a bit more down south. And right now, managing to mantle just in time and prevent any fall damage. I mean, could have actually missed that jump pad if that mantle didn't come through over there. They're building a sort of a trap tower-esque type build with that launch pad at the bottom. Meanwhile, Aiden has a mythic again. Aiden's sitting comfortably this time with his friends around him. And they have an exotic as well. And they are looking for that first place position this time.
They don't have a lot of kills, so they're going to need to boost it up with those positional points. Just a 1 between the squad, but they've done the rest of their work. They've got plenty of builds in hands. They've got the equipment that they need. Still got a great way to pop up those shields as they need, and they're playing this for the long game. I like to see it. It's what you see a lot of the pros do is it becomes a much more patient, and now you start spotting out 12 damage there in through the health. They have to try and escalate around. They don't want anyone else to claim that kill. I think someone just did. It's the CBK squad again getting up onto this duo left here for Chris and Liz to be able to try and chew through. There's another 20 damage and finally gets the kill. I do think. Oh no, I think it was stolen at the end.
No, I think the kill went through over there just in time, but now you're getting held out into the zone, and 3 HP on Chris, and is actually going to go ahead and manage to stay alive just in time. Has found a little bit of ammo for that pistol, but still nothing, and unfortunately over there, I mean, you run out of sprint in that zone. It ticks for 8 damage a second. You've got nothing that you can do. Meanwhile, on that high ground, Twizzy trying to go ahead and rotate across this bridge early. Did a little bit of shots over there to put some pressure. Aiden spots them all out with that thermal and tries to get some shots, but gets a return fire. Loses about 30 shield over there. And now we're down to our top 5 teams, 11 players. And the zone as small as ever, forcing these players to move down south again.
Big thing to me is we've still got two big trios in here, the dominating forces here. Everyone else going to just have to scramble to stay alive. Again, the fight for the high ground going to prove pivotal as these guys fight it out. Remzozo in a dire position now, being hounded, being harassed and corralled by the opponents. Does do well to stay alive for now. CBK, this is the second of this. Still got the jaw in his hand, but Uzumaki takes the brunt of that as they actually from their own team, from their own school, it's Plushy that's going to be the one getting that. Engi returns the fire, gets one for the road, but eventually goes down. But they've certainly whittled down what the rest of CBK has here. It's all up to 10 Twisty. As we go to our final three teams, there's still that full trio, one duo and 10 Twisty left. You've got the sustain, you've got the heals that you need to last through this, but I don't know how much time you're going to do it. This is the team to watch on the high ground, full ammo, full resources, and they get to dictate this as much as they want.
Mythics and exotics in hand as well as they continue that high ground bull, marking that rock. That's the only piece of cover right now to go ahead and rotate. Spots one rotating down low, the cones going down as quickly as ever, and they're doing something very beautiful over here. They're telling one person to build, so the other two still have materials left over if need be. Twizzy right now trying to fight through. Payan as well alive, getting shot at, gets taken down right now. Twizzy, 8 builds, not enough to go ahead and place down anything right now. It has to go ahead, push through, tried to get a refresh off of a kill. 44 on the second player pushing, goes through with the baseball bat, knocks one, but the zone is going to put so much pressure on you that Conrad is going to be able to get that elimination. They end that game with 5 kills total and a victory royale.
Great ending to come out from them at the end there. They were the trio that came in and they kind of just diverted their attention, split it up, and you take out the solo with one person, send the other two off on an elimination spree down there. They managed to come back and they came into that last zone with, 1 kill to their name, managing to pick up 4 of the rest. Great way for them to end, and that is the power, AR, of having the numbers advantage and having the presence of mind. It's not just firepower that comes with the numbers advantage. Like you said, being able to spread the load of building. You got one person draining all their mats while the other two are keeping their eyes up for opportunities.
No, absolutely. And even in that situation, they kept high ground for the longest possible time in that final zone. Not only that, they had the firepower in the form of that mythic drum gun and that exotic hollow twister as well. Literally just to go ahead, put so much pressure on the other teams, and that gets them the second victory royale for today.
Such a good play, and some big points starting to come out. Remember, this is just week number 1, and it all adds up towards the end of the season, kills and placements. But when you get a good start like this, AR, it just puts you in such a good place. Because remember, guys, it's mainly the Premier Division that gets those tickets, those direct invites down to LAN. If you're sitting in the Open Division like these guys were, you have to work extra hard to be able to qualify for that. And the guys have come in with that intention, with that understanding of we have work to do. And they came and did it with a plum. Big plays coming out there at the end. And what else do you expect from ASL?
I mean, this is just day 1 of week 1, term 2. Alt, what are these guys playing for? Let everyone know who hasn't been here for the past term 1, for the past year of us doing this. Let them know exactly what these guys are pushing for.
The LAN, the biggest LAN for school students in the country. Going down to Cape Town. Last year was held at UCT. This year, we're going to an even bigger, better venue. We're just teasing that for now. We're not going to announce anything. That's all up to ACGL. But I promise you, I've heard about it. I've seen the photos. It is amazing. So excited to see where we get to go at the end of July, beginning of August. The dates are there and thereabouts. I don't have them on hand. I'm waiting for production to feed all of that information here. But guys, the LAN is everything. The LAN for your own, to play against other schools, the LAN to play against pros, to meet it. We saw people signing autographs last year. This is the biggest event in esports for everyone. We had a blast last year. I cannot wait for this year. And I can see the excitement is there just in the way these guys are playing.
I mean, I got to witness you with some of the players just playing Mario Kart as well. It was absolutely fantastic. But we do have the scores for those combined games today. Remember, these are the open scores for the end of today. Trio Fortnite B, which is Aiden, Conrad, and Rue as well, who were the victors of that past game. They do end up with 141 points. In second place is that duo that won the first game, Sleeks. And who was it actually? Was it Pine, I think it was? Or was it Aya? I think it might have been Aya. I'm not sure. But they take now second with 109 points. DWK boost their way and still keep that third place. That is Ridtech and the squad with 102 points. So a decent lead in first and second right now. Between first and second, I should say. And this is only day one of week one of term number 2.
But look how close it gets after that first position. 109 to 102 to 100. Brackenfell Knights doing a great job of pushing up into 4th place there. I mean, there is less than 10 points in this, and that's just after week 1. These guys, it's all going to come down to consistency. I believe it's about 8 weeks, AR, that we're going to be playing through this. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a very short break. It is going now to the Premier Division, the cream of the crop. If you guys can't stick around, that's okay. We do this Tuesday, we do this Wednesday, we do this Thursday, week after week, where we're going to be here to bring you the best that School Esports has to offer. But we're going to take a very short break as we get to set up that Premier Division just after this.
Enjoying the games? ASL has been growing exponentially for the last 2 years. Now, term 1, and just in the high school league, we have 182 different registered schools, 1,123 students all participating. If you want your school, company, or anything featured on the streams, in the articles, drop an email at schools@acgl.gg. This could be the perfect place for your brand to live. But if you're not looking to be involved with the high schools, we still have the primary school and university leagues. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to get involved in esports.
Hey everybody, my name is Nick Holden. I'm the co-founder of ACGL, and we're at AGC, finishing things off today with the Rocket League semi-finals about to kick off, I believe, before we go into the finals, which is our very, very last match to conclude what has been a crazy, exhausting, wet, and altogether fun tournament. Ooh, that is a tough one, but there's a couple of things. So just being able to see some of the school learners in Rocket League as well as Fortnite, they were so excited to be able to see some of their heroes. That was very exciting, but also for them to be able to show some of their skills. For me, the school stands out because that's always kind of where the heart is in terms of being able to see the next future stars. I gotta say, our graphic designer has been killing it in terms of some of the posters as well. It's been cool to be able to see that. And honestly, this is a cool event just because our team comes together and we don't always get that opportunity. And just being able to be together has been also amazing. So altogether, there's been a lot of stories. I can't really just pick one. So yeah, I think AGC this year for us was just to be able to get things started. It is our first year, and I think one of the things we like to do from our side of ACGL is get moving sometimes too quickly in terms of what we want to be able to achieve. But I think the whole thing of what we want to do with AGC going forward is really have it as the flagship event. And for us, starting that this year was vitally important. We didn't want to postpone, we didn't want to delay. We wanted to get things going so we can also set that expectation for what we want to do next year. So yeah, I think that's a big thing for us moving forward. So when it comes down to putting together our first event, any first event, it doesn't have a president to be able to set itself on. So you kind of just have to trust ACGL, and I really just want to thank all of our partners, the sponsors, the spectators, the participants, and everyone involved for just trusting us in terms of this process to be able to get it going. There's players that have traveled from afar. There's sponsors that essentially got in just because they said, well, we said, hey, this is something you should get involved with. And that trust means a lot to us as a company. It means that we've also been living up to some of our previous promises, and we just want to keep on doing that as a company. So just a big thank you to everybody involved, and we can't wait for the next one.
My name is Mnoto, and I go to a school called Thomas More College in Hillcrest, Durban. I play Rocket League. Yeah, Rocket League is my favorite game.
Thomas Moore doing it, and Minoto coming off the seating.
We placed third, unfortunately, in the schools league, and today we did not win a single game. I found it amazing. It was very hard, yes, in general, but yeah, that's what comes with competitiveness. No, this is in fact my first time being in person with friends, with teammates, and yeah, it's been an amazing experience. How did we prep? So we prepped by scrimming a lot, a week before our tournament, scrimming all the teams that were going to be here. And we also did just sessions with our coach, yes. I experienced playing in front of a crowd for the first time, all the nerve, all the pressure on top of you, and how you can really play differently at home and in front of people. Yeah. My highlights was probably meeting all the pros, Snowy, To Die For, Cams, Ram, Mr. Low. Yeah, that was definitely my highlights. My hopes are to stop playing RLCS, maybe make top 8s, and really make a name for myself, so yeah.
Oh, no, we're not done yet. We told you there's some more action coming your way for ASL, and we deliver with that. I'm AR. Joined with me now is the wonderful Naomi Mizuki, aka Sam, and we're here now for the Premier Division of Fortnite. It's going to be an absolute banger, Sam.
I'm so excited. Remember, last term we were talking about it. Only one team per school gets to go up to Premier Division. So the competition has never been more fierce than it was last term. And now the best of the best, the cream of the crop, will be fighting it out here in our Premier Division. I'm super excited. And I'm so glad that I get to be back here for the second term with all of you wonderful people.
I mean, let's just cut back to what we've seen in term number 1. We discussed this with Alt as well. 1 HP clutches, solo versus trio clutches, and a hungry players that ended with 30 kills almost every single game. Now you put all of those top stars.
In a way, you forgot the fall damage clutches.
We don't need to talk about that. That never happened. Men in Black Flash, get out of the memory, okay? we don't talk about those. But now we are at the point where all of these players, all of these teams are in a lobby and they're gunning for it, because this is now the final stretch. This is the final stretch of Premier before LAN, before AGC later this year. We do this over a course of 8 weeks or so. And the best of the best try to stay at the top of that food chain, at the top of that leaderboard as we get to LAN.
And this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is day 1 of Prem. So, this is, we're diving straight into it, hit the ground running, no preconceived ideas. I mean, sure, we've got a couple of schools that we know did well last term, so we're kind of going to be looking towards them. But again, a lot of them were in different groups. They might not have played in the same lobby, and now they're coming up against one another. And of course, the stakes are that little bit higher now. You're playing to be the best, to top that leaderboard where possible, and really stake your claim here. So I think that now kind of all bets are off, and I can't wait to see which of our schools are going to end up, fighting their way to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I go through the names on this list right now of the Premier Division, and so much familiar names, not just from Term 1, but from last year's LAN, AGC, that happened at the UCT Sports Arena in Cape Town. It was fantastic to witness all of these guys live on the stage, on the big screens, as everyone is surrounding, watching them play. The cheers that you hear in the distance as they get elimination upon elimination, absolutely fantastic. Those names are back in these lobbies, and they're fighting for that chance again to be at this LAN, to have those vibes, to hear the crowds cheer their names live, in person, front seat at that concert, in front of everyone. They want it badly. They are going to push for it, and I'm so excited that I get to be here starting on day number 1. Let's talk a little bit about the metas that we might see over here. We talked about this in the previous Open, where if you go through to the black markets, you open the door, you can go ahead and get a chest, and it gives you a guaranteed dilbit if you have a gold keycard. To get that gold keycard, you have to open up a certain amount of vaults, you have to break into places, so on and so forth. These guys have now had a long time to go ahead and get that keycard to gold, which means the meta is dropping at these black markets and going ahead and getting those overpowered guns immediately. We didn't see it that much in the Open. How much do you think we're going to see it in Premier?
Well, this is the thing, because even last term, we didn't see as much of those kind of hot areas being heavily contested. You might get like 1 or 2 teams dropping into one of those zones, and then you might get a team pushing on one of those to try and take the loot away. We did see that once or twice, but it wasn't a case of this is like a massive hot drop where 4 or 5 teams are all dropping on top of each other. They're all fighting for those resources. They're all, clawing their way through those battles. And I think that speaks a lot to the kind of tactical decision making that even at this young age, these kids are able to make. It's really, really impressive. Why take the early fight unnecessarily? Okay, you might have to give up some of that good loot, but you're going to have more opportunities later on. Somebody's going to, get into a battle with those guys. You might have the opportunity to third party. Maybe you find something that's not quite as powerful, but you use what you have really well, and then you can win out those fights, especially if you go into that with more resources, more materials for building, more shielding, etc. If you have all of that under your belt, you can still take those fights. So I don't think that it's going to be as much of a pivot point as it could be, and I think again that really does speak to how these kids are constantly just thinking that one step ahead.
And talking about metas as well, this season almost coming to a close over here. Final update, we had broadcast telling us 17 gigs of update. That just bringing in some new files as well for the next final 2 weeks, because around May 2nd or May 3rd, we are getting another update, a new season where everything goes ahead, gets flipped on its head, new changes, new weapons, new mechanics, hopefully. And I mean, that gives these guys, a couple hours, maybe a day to go ahead and learn everything. But they still managed to go ahead and pull through, give us the best action as well. It's going to be insane to witness. I mean, we know it's May. May the 4th is a thing. Fortnite loves to do Star Wars stuff. Are we going to see lightsabers again? That's going to be an absolute show to witness. But with the metas constantly changing, what are you looking forward to within this 8 long weeks that we're going to witness? Not just the Open, but the Premier as well.
I think that, speaking of the fact that things are constantly changing, there's constantly updates, and one of the most important things to keep in mind around that is the fact that it means these teams are going to have to constantly be adapting, figuring out, okay, well, what is the next big ticket item going to be? How is the best way to utilize it? How are we going to be taking full advantage of those things? And that really does kind of separate your up-and-comers from your phenomenal kind of outstanding teams. And that's one of the things that I always look for when I watch these teams, and I want to see, can they make those adaptations? Are they sticking too firmly to like, oh, well, this was really powerful last season, I'm sure it'll still be good, as opposed to the teams that are like, all right, this is probably still good, but that's better. And we need to find a way to make sure that we are using that to our advantage every single time. And that is the huge difference maker. But of course, It's not all about, you know, the adaptations and the metas and so on. It's about the kids themselves, and I want to see how they grow from week to week. You know, we often see some kids that are dominating their way through an entire season, but then you get some of those kids that maybe start off a little bit slower, and by the end of the season they're raking up the kills, or they're, you know, getting tons and tons of assists behind their belt, just to make sure that their team is constantly, you know, surviving and thriving, and being a big cog piece. Or maybe you're playing that more kind of ratty style, so you're the guy that's constantly getting high placements, because when your team invariably drops out, you're finding a way to make sure that you're still alive towards the end. So I'm really looking towards what our individual players are going to be doing and how they're taking advantage of things.
I mean, we talk about the players. Sam, this is your first year in ASL. You were in absolute shock when you saw a primary school dominating the leaderboards in that first term.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible because there's so many reasons why that's crazy, right? One of the reasons, I was like a late bloomer in esports. I only got into esports in my 20s. But a lot, like most other kids, start really young. And to me, you know, you look at some of the professional players in the world, and most of them are like around 16 and up. And very often that has to do with like age restrictions and stuff like that, but also it has to do with having time to practice and having time to learn and grow and improve. And so for kids that are that young, remember, primary school is up to the age of 13. Which is when some kids, I mean, my nephew's 11, he doesn't even have a PC yet. So the fact that there are kids that have been working so hard and have reached that level at such a young age, it's mind-boggling, because you start to think about, well, what is their trajectory? And how much further can they go if they're already this good? So it is amazing to me that we have our primary school kids doing so much work, and of course that they have the support of the adults around them, you know, of course responsibly, making sure that we're still focusing on schoolwork and getting all of our responsibilities done, but still having the time to grind it out, to continue to practice, and to become the best versions of themselves in an all-rounded way. So it's really, really cool.
I mean, witnessing the parents cheering as well at some of these kids' first ever LAN was absolutely incredible. I mean, the support that they get, not just from their parents, but from the schools as well that are willing to do this. I mean, back in my day, okay? Grandpa AR over here. You say 20s, you actually mean 2 years ago. Don't worry about it. Back in my day, we didn't have schools that really wanted to do this. I know my high school, we had the computer lab and everything. I brought up esports to them. They said, no, that's never going to work. That'll never be a thing. Cut a couple years later, here we are creating LANs through ASL, and of all of this possible, of course, with this beautiful logo right here, Ace and Nitro, making sure that these guys go ahead and have that stepping stones for the future. And of course, thank you to ACGL for making all of this possible, not just for the pros getting to compete at LANs and stuff as well, but for these school kids to get those first ever LANs, to get those stepping stones to that bigger point of esports where they can represent their friends, their families, their country on top of that as well. A lot of this sometimes gets pushed to big things overseas. Let's hope it's for these guys as well. But we are getting that lobby sorted out for all of you guys really quickly. Set up for all of you guys. We will be hopping into that. This is day 1 of Fortnite Premiere. Everyone's going to be hungry right off the bat. Everyone wants that top of the leaderboard right off the bat. I mean, placements and kills count to that leaderboard. In the open, we just saw 141 points on day 1 in first place. About a 30-point gap or so. What are we going to see in the Premier Division, where these guys know that they have to gun it to be on top?
Oh god, that is the question, right? Like, how much more of a gap can we possibly see? Because yes, your top team is looking to make a runaway stance, but every other team is pushing to stay within a competitive range. So they're not going to want to allow that gap to elevate. But here we go, folks. Apologies for the delay. We had to get through the updates and all of those shenanigans. But now we're on the jump ship. The battle bus is heading its way across. And where are our teams going to land? Already we're seeing quite quite a lot of like closely compacted teams all heading towards similar areas. And again, it's that Crime City, Outlaw Oasis. We saw a lot of contention there last term as well. And it looks like that's just going to continue to be a theme here.
And a couple of players going up north as well. One team aiming for what looks to be that armored vehicle or Magic Mosses. One going to Lone Wolf Lair. And down by the floodgate, a couple of teams as well. We tune in with Antonio Diogo and Josh MX. As this is a good spot to land. A couple of slurp battles. I believe there's a slurp truck that randomly spawns here as well. But an early fight takes Josh down to 9 HP. Good thing teammates are there to go ahead and help out in that situation. 9 HP not where you want to be, especially when there's that gigantic fall that you just see over there. That's the first of 2 players down, and that's going to be the first kill for this team.
Oh, it's a rough way to kick things off. And that's kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier, right? Like when you get into these really early engagements, you could end up losing your life unnecessarily, and maybe your entire team gets wiped out, just like what has happened right now. Already one team taken off the board in the first couple of seconds of this map or this match. So it is dangerous, and I think that, you know, going into the next match, because obviously there's 2 matches tonight, things might just change. Caught lacking, sleeping behind the wheel there, and Diogo is not only muted, he's also eliminated.
I don't think Diogo could build over there, if I'm not mistaken. I think the wall would not go down, but Shanahan right now getting taken down to 42, make that 12, and unfortunately gets knocked. All that shield that just came through from breaking those slurp battles upon leaving just got wiped out there by Antonio. Easy kill. We move over to Tybos, names that we've seen a lot on the top of the leaderboards throughout the last term. Now just farming a little bit on the edge of this cliff, and there is actually a team down at Shogun Solitude as well. I don't think I've really ever seen a lot of people land down there within this term, but now over here in the Bitcoin servers, or the Dilbit servers, if you will, trying to get a lot of materials, gives a lot of metal, by the way, and gives has a chance to give Dilbits as well. We'll take that to a black market, get those mythics, get those exotics, have the advantage upon your opponents.
Heavens, we've lost 8 players already, but only 1 full squad has been eliminated. So slowly hemorrhaging players here, teams trying desperately to keep themselves alive. And I love the instant punishes as well. You know, you get into a bit of an engagement. Oh, I hear gunshots. All right, I'm just going to push that. And you get punished for your over eagerness to take those early fights. And of course, it's a great bit of what's the word? I suppose forethought or awareness to realize, all right, this is a perfect opportunity here to go in for that third party, and it does net some really good gains. Oh, Marshmallow manages to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible, but is being chased down. Tybos going to try to create a bit of a crossfire here, but unfortunately, Marshmallow has gone down, and so Tybos is just going to have to back away. How on earth can he survive? 2 teammates already knocked out, and the best thing to do here is to try to escape, but it doesn't look like they're going to allow it.
Yeah, I saw the vision over there, bait the team to come up, and your teammate waiting with the shotgun, unfortunately, was just waiting on the wrong side of that zip line, and it did not pan out the way that they wanted to. Dex, Rockerblade, and Prince, of course, names that were also in that top half of the leaderboard last time. Now looking to get a couple more KP on their boards right now. Unfortunately, that SMG not going to do it from Rocco over there. If that was an AUG, that would have been beautiful shots off in the distance. That team down low in Shogun Solitude now going to have to rotate. Of course, a couple players going to be gatekeeping them for, but Rocco gets hit quite hard over there, taking down a 26 shield, and now they need to be aware because there is that slight height advantage, and we can see Batman over here, not in the shadows, but out in the open with that hollow twister assault rifle, just tapping away, getting a couple of damage shots over there. Only one team still out in this game right now. It is going to be a methodical one.
This is insane that we've lost so many players, and yet still these teams are hanging on by a thread. That does tell me that that player did manage to get away earlier on. I can't remember the name, but that's great for them. Tybos, there you go. Thank you for that one, Peach. Shout out, Peach. production. Absolute goat. But yeah, did manage to survive. So keeping the team's dreams alive. However, Rilo goes down off stream or off screen, and that brings us down to 18 squads. Finally, another squad will get taken out of the running as the zone now starts to close in. And this is where we start to look for those circle sweepers, those teams that are waiting for anyone to try to push in. They're going to be the gatekeepers of the realm. We can already see there's a few teams set up for that.
I mean, Crime City going to be a hotspot within this as well. Click Slayer, but getting beamed from top. I was about to take a couple shots, but has to now reposition after that little bit of a connection from behind over there. Evan gets cracked as well, taking down to 72 HP. Has that gold collateral that could be a game changer, but only 26 bullets in it. Is going to be a tough situation as well. One thing that you will see throughout all of these players and all of these teams is that they are going to prioritize one item above all, and that is the baseball bat. Not just to go ahead and yeet your opponents off a mountain, but to give that extra momentum boost when you are sprinting. They need it, especially when mobility is at an all-time low. Clickslayer now just going to move through, try to have a little bit of a peace treaty with the team that was in Crime City and move on the outskirts rather towards the safety of the zone. Meanwhile, some teams are just not willing to have the safety of that safe zone. They are deep in the storm, trying to rob a store right now, Sam.
But you know what? The storm isn't doing much damage right now. No one's really looking at you because everyone's trying to move into the next zone. So why not, I guess?
Why not rob a jewelry store?
100%, you know? If not, why not? We have lost a few more people in the interim, however. Some of those stragglers, those one-man armies, have been annihilated. So we're down to only 17 teams. And the hits just keep on hitting as more players will get downed. And now it looks like we could have, in fact, we do have a bit of an altercation coming through here. Walls to come through. Oh my goodness. When the door comes up in your face, help, door stuck. But it does give them a bit of reprieve.
Wait, one of the teammates took it, and that might be bad over there for a little bit. Diogo gets taken out again, managed to somehow get the advantage over there. Took the teleport as well and managed to get one. Usually when that happens, it's a trap. The Star Wars meme, it's a trap right there. Just waiting with a baseball bat, but unfortunately not going ahead and getting that up will result in elimination. That's 3 right now for one player as well. Remember, kills and placements will count towards that that leaderboard. Just a confirmation from broadcast, we will have leaderboard updates for this as well. I would like to know that. Yes, we will. So after each game, we will go ahead and show you the updated leaderboard. 17 teams still, 42 players left alive, and still early on in the storms, about to go into storm number 3.
Good to see that. Oh, odd. Okay, sorry. Peach just giving me a slight heart attack there for no reason, just because memes. But yeah, it's cool to see that most of our teams are managing to avoid a lot of these fights. However, too many of them are still in danger. We've lost yet another team now, another squad that unfortunately will not be able to survive further into this particular lobby. And now it looks like we could have like a 4-team pileup. But they're still trying to avoid one another. So we're not just running straight into the aggression. Oh, you mentioned Batman a little bit earlier on. Batman is no longer on the server.
Unfortunately, Superman must have taken him out.
Doubt.
Doubt. Press F to doubt right now, Chad. Who would win, Batman or Superman? Let's get a poll going. Anyway, Cappy right now, mythic shotgun in hand. The mythic sentinel pump. Extra shot within it and a ton more damage. In that kill feed, I do see Awak and Dragon going a little bit hard over there as well, getting a couple of eliminations. As right now, X-Man on the PRG side, again, something that we like to say is PRG seems to be good at every game that they play in ASL, to the point where we call it the 3 most dangerous letters in ASL esports entertainment. And I mean, you can see exactly why. They put so much pressure on opponents. They spray down walls in unison, making sure that you can't get that wall back up and you will waste your materials. And the communication of them is so good as well, as we saw right there, them getting that kill. Lady, however, with a good inventory over here. They got that Slurp Sprite for heals. They've got the Chug Jug as well for late game. The launch pad for a bit of rotation and decent weaponry. Only thing that is a little bit bad in this inventory is that shotgun. The worst shotgun in the game, and you can quote me on that, ladies and gentlemen. And kind of getting sprayed, or kind of looking for a spray a little bit on the opponents as Champion and the rest of the squad just holding angles as well, looking for to protect. We've lost a couple more teams right now, down to 12, 32 players left alive.
Bro, talking about the worst shot in the game as if shotguns aren't bad by virtue of the fact that they are shotguns. I mean,
Fortnite, it's overpowered.
That's fair. That's fair. However, a lot of long-range battles at the moment. Your shotgun isn't going to have as much effect here, so you're going to need to try and close the distance. And, well, of course, they're not going to allow that to happen. Just going to bounce on out of there. Look at how many teams are converging on Seaport at the moment. This is a little bit scary. This could turn into an absolute bloodbath if some of our teams don't change trajectory. And of course, the potential for third partying is absolutely out of this world. It seems that some teams have made the call. Actually, you know what? We don't want to be a part of that cluster. We'd rather just get the hell out of Dodge and live to fight another day. Not a bad call. And of course, with us being down to 12 teams, there aren't that many, potential battles to take left. There aren't that many opponents to think about, but the ones that are left, well, you know that they're going to be deadly.
Okay, Sam, question for you. Let's go back in the memories of term number 1. We remember how cruel the zone was. Yes, we do. Surely Fortnite knows this is the first game of Premier. What do you think the zone's going to be? Where do you think it's going to shift to?
I'm really hoping it's going to be in the water again, just because it's funny. Just because it's funny. Like, I am here. I am a chaos agent, and all I want in the world is more chaos. So please, let's get that zone headed out over towards the water and cause some havoc for our teams. But we're not there just yet. Did I just see somebody like out living in the zone somewhere?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Bro's living his best life in the storm. I mean,
on an island too.
Like, so we were talking about how some players are the one who just kind of rats it out until like top 4 or 5 just to try and get a bit of a better placing. It's that guy. That is El Rat. I don't know what a rat is in Spanish, but it's El Rat.
No, you said it in the Deadpool way, El Rat. You are absolutely correct. And
Banger.
right now, the bridge at Foxy Floodgate is going to have another player joining them from the storm as well. And Cappy taken down to 2 HP very, very quickly. And with that storm about to approach as well, you do not want to get touched by that whatsoever. UK just trying to find a spot to get an angle up top on the players up top. X-Man trying to build as well. UK dropping some minis for the teammates and immediately starts building up. Cappy grabs those and we'll get back to sustainable HP to go ahead and get back into the fight. But the beams from up top just seems a little bit too much for X-Man. And
ridiculous tower, but not going to be allowed to do so.
Oh,
that's toxic. That's toxic.
The
And I don't just mean the
mistletoe
mistletoe.
take the L. That's insane. I haven't seen that in ages. And then we see it here at ASL. Hey, you got the glory. You got the 5 minutes of emoting over on the big screens. Let's see what you can do in the rest of this match and in the next one, because we do have 2 games of Premier, ladies and gentlemen. 2 games for these guys to push forward strong and get their points all the way up for that leaderboard.
And it sounds like a lot, but let's face it, it's so little. It's not a lot of opportunities here. You need to make the absolute most of it. And okay, term 2 is a little bit longer, obviously, than the term 1 season. So you've got a bit more time, kind of long term. But you don't want to make any misplays. You don't want to take a step incorrectly. You want to make sure that you are getting as much value as you possibly can. Some slight issues at the moment with my feed. Hopefully that rectifies itself shortly so that we can jump back into the action. But Diogo, who has somehow managed to survive for so long, heavily under fire for most of this game, is still somehow in this lobby, has been knocked for what is possibly the 4th time this evening, but just refuses to die, refuses to give in. And part of me is like, go on, survive, live a little bit longer, live to fight another day.
Josh trying to live to see another day in this little watery areas next to Seaport City, but those players are not going to have him survive for if they really wanted. Josh right now trying to get to that launch pad and get that reposition onto a little bit of a higher ground, try to get towards that zone. Island is in play. A couple of people on it right now will get that free rotation as well. We move over to Fatal Acid. We've seen them a little bit earlier in this game. This is the team that took the teleport of that bathroom stall and got an elimination. And right now, Fatal getting shot at from behind and will build up immediately. Has enough heals to go ahead and get themselves back up to a good spot. But they can't be held out over here. Bean has that mythic drum gun, and you see why it is a mythic. Fires so quickly, deals so much damage, and has a thermal sight on it where you can spot people in bushes or in vehicles. Absolutely insane, and does a little bit extra damage to a player up above as well. Now trying to build, but the player's up on height. Not gonna have Bean rotate in easily. Gets that insta knock, and now Bean needs to go ahead, have a teammate revive them, but that team pushing in way too quickly. Asians right now gets the 108 through the wall, gets the 40 as well, gets the knock, but to no avail, gets taken out by UK 47, and this is the PRG squad. 13 kills so far, and you wonder why, ladies and gentlemen, we call it the 3 most dangerous letters in ASL history.
It's so disheartening, I feel like, you know, if you're not one of the main top teams coming into this and you see, oh man, they're in our lobby for real. It's so difficult to kind of come to terms with. But obviously, they're going to be feeling really comfortable with how that one went. They're going to be feeling hot to trot heading into the rest of this lobby. We're only about halfway through here. Still 9 teams left, and I seem to recall last term was around about this time where everything kind of kicked off and the entire lobby just like died and we ended up with only like 4 teams left. So it's really cool to see again. And this speaks to the cream of the crop, the best teams that we have in our schools league. They're not taking these fights unnecessarily. Now that it's kind of down to the wire and getting dangerously close to the end of this lobby, they want to maximize as far as possible. They want to, you know, KP is important, obviously, it makes a big difference, but your big scorer, the thing that's going to make the biggest difference in terms of, you know, overall standing is that placement. So to make sure that you have that positioning at the end, absolute game changer.
It's strange to see AWAC, Dragon, and KB on this few kills. I mean, you see the beam from Dragon over there as they get a knock, but at this point in time, usually in Term 1, they had over 10 kills right now. They're only sitting at 5 at this moment, and trying to get a little bit more over here. But you talk about that positioning as well, that placement points that boosts you so much. They are going for that as well, but you still have to get a little bit of kills in lobbies like this, especially when PRG are sitting at 13 right now and still looking for more. Zone number 7, 8 teams left alive, 18 players in this lobby. The zone moving all the way west one more time as we watch AWAC and the squad try to get a low jump pad to go ahead and get the quick rotate over there. Sunny and the rest of the squad just chilling in that zone on the shoreline of that lake as we see Kian, who we just saw as well, this team in the open playthrough, or at least a couple of players from that team in the open. Try to get a couple more eliminations. Josh's inventory is looking stacked with that slap chug jug and 2 mythics, the twin mag shotgun and the collateral assault rifle. And then I see the mythic hollow twister as well. I saw the exotic hollow twister in Sunny's hands. This team is stacked with firepower.
Oh, and that's what we were saying, right? Like, you can amass such an arsenal by the end of the game, and it's honestly just that little bit unfair. And again, PRG themselves just a little bit unfair. Down to only 6 squads. They have started to fall like flies. The zone a little bit more forgiving this term than what we saw last term. Not bouncing around quite as much, not throwing everyone into the ocean and,
It's
sink
gone
or
to
swim.
it's gone to some body of water. I will give you that.
Yeah, but let's face it, that's inconsequential, really. It's not, it's not sink or swim. It's kind of leisurely float down the river on a rubber tube. It's Sun City vibes, It's a banger.
And I mean, that zone moving one more time, a little bit more south as well, keeping a little bit of the water. It hurt that you said you wanted some water in the final zones. It hurt you. It's keeping a little bit of the lake in there. So we'll have that for a bit. But now these players have to try to reposition. Not much natural cover in this final zone. Or in this final couple of zones that it's going to be. There's a little bit of a cheese going on. And you can use the height advantage as we see Cappy building up top. But natural cover-wise, there's not a lot in this area. So materials are going to be the big thing over here. I mean, we see on UK 69, Cappy only has 49 bullets left, but beaming from up above, the medallion is in play over there for the bubble shield. We see it down low get used when the heals pop through. And 5 teams left. KB getting confirm elimination on 21 Cypher. Cappy and the squad just sticking over here. PRG, they know they have the high ground. They have everything that they need right now. They can see everyone on a 360 view. They can shoot at anyone they please, and they can burn any of the other players' materials down as they want. On the CBK side of things, playing the low ground, trying to get refreshes on materials and on ammunition and on heals as well. Chug Jugs being used right now to top back up, but in this 5-team situation, you need to keep that as well for a bit further.
Oh my
so hopefully
God.
they have uses there as well.
Look at that zone change. Come on, bro. And so we had a team playing Storm, and well, there's a ping that's just come through, so it's now well telegraphed that there is a team out there. But they're they've just been chilling in there for the longest time because it hasn't been safe. Oh, the full damage raid boss claims another victim. Unfortunate. Maybe they'll be able to get back up and running into this. But now these teams have to try and move with the zone to the next safe zone while 4 or 3 other teams sit on top of them. The 4th just still chilling in the zone and just trying to out heal it for as long as humanly possible, which is the craziest strat. But hey, sometimes it does work, and somehow these teams are managing to shimmy their way across without taking too much fire. Of course, as I say that, KB7 trying to build himself into a better vantage point is going to get fired in on. We're slowly doing the cha-cha slide over towards that next safe zone, but all of this building is keeping them alive. The question is, how much longer can they keep this up? How many more resources do they still have available? KB7 jumps down, spots out Sunny. A shot straight to the face will bring us down to only 4 squads. And again, our Storm squad are still just chilling. I mean, they're going to get top 2, I swear, because now this is where everything is going to completely combust.
Hey Sam, look at the zone again.
Oh, brother.
It shifts all the way back east right now with our 4 teams building up their high ground, wasting their materials. We see 28 builds on Dragon as they fly down death from above style. They gotta move all the way back east right now, climb through this little hillside, make their way through all of the enemy builds, and then try to keep themselves safe in that next tiny zone. It is Storm number 10. 15 seconds left before these players have to move. Dragon on the high ground. They have lost KB earlier on, so it's just a duo right now as they are spotting out players on the early rotate. Baseball bats in hand as AWAC drops all the way down right now, keeping that height advantage as much as they possibly can. Trying to spray through materials, put pressure on the other players right now. But still, they have to go ahead and make sure they get their positioning right. 25 bullets, 5 bullets on Dragon with 107 on that shotgun through that edit. Beautifully done, and then immediately backs up to the teammate. I love that strategy. Not being overly aggressive in the situation, but pulling back to the team to go ahead and get another knock on PRG X-Man. Right now, just putting so much pressure from high ground, dropping all the way down now. Edits through builds, gets 103 on that shotgun, gets a 34, not enough over there to go ahead and get UK 47 from the PRG side. 18 kills total for PRG. 2 teams left. Cappy, UK, the last 2 left alive, going up against a full 3-man squad, keeping high ground for as long as they possibly can, spraying through, trying to get rid of any walls that may not be theirs. There's one knock from UK on Mighty Mika. Cappy bouncing around, trying to not get shot at, trying to break the floor. There's the second one. They just need one more to go ahead and win the first Premier game. And just like that, PRG with the first win of Premier on day 1 for term 2.
2 against the world. What a ridiculous clutch moment from them to have survived so long. They stayed as a 3-man squad for a really, really long time, but eventually in that kind of final, I don't want to say the final zone because the zone did move a couple of times, but in the, I suppose the final straight, eventually they do lose one player and you start thinking, oh man, how do you recover from this? There's only 2 of you left. There's still like 2 squads. How are you still going to make your way through? But it's perfect isolation, perfect team play. The 2 of them play off of each other so well, and a little bit of baiting, I feel like. You know, you take a little bit of damage and you kind of like, yes, come, push us, see what happens. And they get pushed and they win. They win those fights, and it's one more lobby that they're going to get to put under their belts here in 2025. They continue to be a force to be reckoned with, but they will be the champions of our very first Premier lobby of ASL in 2025. It's really cool.
No, absolutely. PRG showing why they're always on top in these divisions. We are going to get that second lobby sorted out for you guys, as well as getting that leaderboard set up for you as well. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after a short intermission.
Hi, my name is Zander Esterhuizen.
My naam is Christian.
My name is Richard André.
We are from Gauteng, Johannesburg, Hoërskool die Anker.
The games are definitely challenging. We have a lot of different players with different skills. They are very good. Some of them are poor at the game, but it's very challenging. I say it's hard, difficult.
Van hulle was lekker, van hulle was moeilik. Daar was baie kompetisie. Daar was verskillende spelers, van die spelers was baie goed. Ek het dit geniet, dit was lekker.
Yes, it was extremely fun. Very grateful for the opportunity we had. It was very intense, and there was certainly a lot of competition. But yeah, it was just amazing. Yes, this is our first LAN experience ever, so we are extremely grateful for the opportunity.
Yes, this is me and my team's first LAN experience ever, and it's quite different, very different. A lot of people around us can hear what they are communicating to the teammates, and it's definitely more pressure than at home. We're comfortable.
Ja, dit is my eerste LAN experience. Dit is baie anderste, baie groter. Ek het dit nie verwag nie. Die mense is nice, almal.
You can feel the environment. I mean, the people are very nice in it, but you can feel it's not the same at home, like on your own setup. Everything just feels like different, but it was good.
Ons het saam in creative geoefen, ons het zoneworsie mekaar gespeel. Ek en my span het in 'n trio's gaming gegaan. Ons het ons strats uitgewerk en ja.
We, at home, we play together a lot. Creative mode, public games against other people, just making sure we know what we have to do as a team.
I definitely did do some mentality stuff. I've motivated myself, and that's how I played.
Yes, we definitely gained a lot of experience from this, and next time when we come back, we will be better than ever and hopefully grab that first place trophy.
Ons het baie goeters geleer om saam te speel, nuwe strats, wat waar om te land. Dit was baie lekker. Ons het dit geniet, ja.
Yes, I learned that I doubted my opponents. I thought that I was this guy placing first and But no, yeah, I learned that I should not be cocky, lower my ego, and definitely train harder, play more. Highlight was definitely coming third place in the nationals and celebrating it at home.
The highlight, I would say, is just meeting a lot of new people and all of the commentators and just having a great time with everyone.
Dat ons derde kon gekom het in die ASL.
My hopes for AGC 25 is to see a lot more people joining the community, to meet new people, and just have a great experience together.
My hopes are coming first place, obviously, and probably training and playing a lot of games with my fellow teammates.
That we can come first.
Thank you all for your support, and thank you to you all that doubted us.
Sterkte, daai kant, almal kan dit doen as julle julle harte in dit sit.
From my school, I would say we tried our best. We were extremely grateful. We were chosen for this opportunity, and we did our best. And next year, we will certainly come back and be on top.
Enjoying the games? ASL has been growing exponentially for the last 2 years. Now, term 1, and just in the high school league, we have 182 different registered schools, 1,123 students all participating. If you want your school, company, or anything featured on the streams, in the articles, drop an email at schools@acgl.gg. This could be the perfect place for your brand to live. But if you're not looking to be involved with the high schools, we still have the primary school and university leagues. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to get involved in esports.
Welcome on back, everybody, to ASL. We are now in the Premier Division of Fortnite. We've just finished our first lobby, and I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Let's take a look at that scoreboard because, wow, I'm sure you're all just as interested as I am in seeing, well, where did those teams eventually end up? And of course, look at the point differential. That is outrageous. And you know what made that difference? It was the 20 kills that PRG got in that lobby. There were only 60 people in the lobby, and they took out a third of them on their own. Just a fantastic performance once again here from PRG, continuing to be demons in the ASL sphere, not just Fortnite.
I mean, that's why I say it all the time, and people think that I'm overglazing. Nah, there's no overglaze within this when it's just facts. PRG is the 3 most dangerous letters in ASL, and for some reason, even with that targets on their back that they give themselves, they still find a way to stay at the top of the leaderboard. I mean, they have 105 points in first. Edgemead, which is AWAC Dragon and KB, in second right now with 62 points. Knights being CBK, they do have 60 points in third. Trio, I believe, is Diogo, Antonio, and Josh. Yes, it is. They sit at 4th place currently. And that is the end of game number 1. We still have another lobby for you right now where PRG can even further that lead. It's insane to me that they wiped out a third of a lobby in one game, in the first game of Premier.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Edgemead was caught lacking. They got 9 kills. That's still a lot. Like, that's 3 squads just on their own. That's so much work to get done. But PRG, just that one step higher. There's almost a world in which I feel like PRG are like Thanos, right? And everyone else in this lobby needs to be all like Avengers Assemble. The one time they actually said it in the movies, and like people started pouring out of portals from all over the multiverse to come and fight that. Like, that's what we need. Like, okay, this is where they're dropping. Gentleman's agreement. We don't shoot each other. We just take our PRG, scatter to the winds, give it like one zone, and then, resume play. Because I think that that's the only way that you have a fighting chance when PRG are in the lobby.
The final boss of ASL. There's so many nicknames that we can give PRG that it's insane right now. But we are going to be getting into that second lobby.
Do you know what's really funny though? Because the Thanos analogy works because they snapped their fingers and a third of the lobby disappeared.
They are inevitable. I'll tell you that much right then and there. Second lobby though, we've seen the strats right now in that first one. We've seen the teams go for the mythics and the exotics, and we've seen the beams come through from these players. Obviously, we talk about PRG. Let's talk about the other teams right now. AWAC, Dragon, and KB. They got that 9 kills that you mentioned.
Yeah.
They played most of that for their positioning. Do you think they should play for their positioning again? Or now that they see the point difference, do you think they should gun it and be more aggressive for kills? Or should they keep the same strat and wait till endgame?
See,
no pun intended on endgame with Thanos over there.
Oh no, definitely intended. Absolutely intended. I think that's a tough call to make, right? When there is this much of a differential of points, there can definitely be that temptation to want to kind of run it down a little bit, to try and get as many kills as possible, to try to close that gap. But you also have to remember, temper yourselves a little bit. You're in second place. Getting into, you could very easily try to take an early fight or try to take a bunch of fights, end up going out really early on with maybe 2 or 3 kills, getting no placement points, and then getting overtaken on the standings. So yes, I see the bloodlust. I see the draw of let's get a bunch of kills, let's go for that first place. But you've got to think a little bit more strategically. You've got to be thinking more long term. We're in second place now. How do we maintain that position and maintain the gap that we've created between ourselves and those that are just below us? Because I just want to double check on that. But the scores were relatively close there as well. So you don't want to give an opportunity to be overtaken. Yeah, it was like a 2-point difference. So instead of hounding down that first place, focus up on staying in second.
Yeah, absolutely. And 19 teams within this right now, 52 players, as the battle bus goes over the island one more time. And this just excites me. Seeing this action for Premier excites me at the thought of what's going to happen when that massive update comes in 2 weeks. What's going to happen in Premier when a whole new season comes around and we lose the baseball bat? We lose perhaps the hollow twister. We lose the sentinel pump shotgun. What are we going to get? What are these teams going to do? And how are they going to master that season ever so quickly? Because it all matters. Whether or not it's a new season, their playstyle, their performance matters within this. And I mean, every squad seems to go down to Hopeful Heights, to the factory, to Mask Meadows, to that black market that sits between all three, and Seaport City, of course, just up north. But Mask Meadows is going to be home to a couple teams as well. The vault is over there. Everyone wants the best loot in this game, so they're going to gun for the best loot in the game.
Absolutely. Going to be trying to try and take those battles as quickly as possible, as early as possible, and win out as dominantly as possible. Look at how many teams there are here. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, all just in this like southeasterly quadrant. It's insane. And they're all going to be running into each other very shortly. The rest of the lobby, so far removed from one another, playing that patient game, playing that long game, and trying not to get caught out unnecessarily. It's the smart play to make. But yeah, we'll see how that fares. I think PRG, we did kind of check in with them momentarily, and they're also very close to this mess. So maybe that gentleman's agreement did actually come to fruition. Maybe the Avengers have arrived.
That would be something to witness. A custom game of everyone against PRG's teams. That would be fun. Yo, ACGL, make that happen. Either way, up north, we even have a couple teams by Outlaw Oasis. Crime City is somehow not home to anyone right now, surprisingly enough. Did not get actual visual over there on Lone Wolf Lair in time. There is a team over at Lone Wolf as well, and there is going to be a couple of guards waiting around X-Man, and X-Man is taken out, I believe, gets shot at from up top in Lone Wolfly, if I'm not mistaken, was going for the train, was going for the medallion that gives you that speed boost, and X-Man will get taken down. Cappy getting a few shots in the distance. Will now back up, knows that the reboot card has that 300 seconds. You have opportunity to go back, get that card, get your teammate back in, but you have to play it safe for now.
Just a reminder, X-Men are part of the Marvel Universe now. So they're here to they're here to fight. I would say to fight Thanos, but that's not quite accurate. They've kind of thrown my metaphor out of the window, and I'm a little bit upset with that. But you know what?
There's a multiverse. It's fine. It probably happens.
True. There. I mean, you've seen the Marvel What If series, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Part of What If. Easy clap. Yeah. This is the arc where Thanos teams up with the X-Men or something. I don't know.
With Black Panther.
With Black Panther. As you can see, folks, it's a bit quiet at the moment, and that's why we have a lot of space to yap. But very shortly, I think we'll have some action raining down upon us. And there you go. Already, Cappy has spotted out some players a little bit slow to react there to the gunfire. So a ton of early chip damage done. We'll see if they can pivot off of that, move with the space that they've made for themselves, or if they're just gonna go, you know what? You just back out. We don't need to push that.
I mean, I think that team was slow today because they thought it was the boss, the AI that was shooting at them.
Oh, yeah.
But actually players, and they did back up from that. They aren't going to challenge that, especially with another team coming through. Antonio, Diogo, and Josh right now trying to get a little bit of action going on for themselves, as we lost a couple of players in here right now, still at our 19 teams. And I feel like that's going to be a constant through Premier, where we lose a bunch of players, but we still stick at our high teams with a bunch of solos trying to get those reboot cards back. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for Premier. Josh getting a few shots in the distance right now with that striker burst, the AUG in hand. Such a lovely gun. If you can get the mythic version of that, even better. Diogo right now just trying to protect themselves from all the gunfire around. At 62 HP, has that big pot to go ahead and get that 50 shield back, but needs an opportunity. But unfortunately, Sunny right there in the box, up close and personal with that shotgun, with that one pump on an already low Diogo, and then confirming that kill.
And then silence descends. A slight calm after the storm? Something like that.
It's like a D&D session.
Yes, it is. I mean, this is kind of D&D-esque, I'm not gonna lie. As a veteran D&D player, can confirm. You know, you get into a bit of a fight, then you go and you rest up. You get ready for the next one. Especially when you're doing a dungeon delve. Yes, exactly. This is the part where you go into town and instead of shopping, you just steal from everyone.
You know, it is the crime season. Can't even be mad with this one. So, like, you know, there we are. Right now, everyone just trying to go ahead, get their materials, get their ammos up. We see how much that plays as a factor in the end game. X-Man gets brought back in, born again into this island right now. We'll have to go find some more loot. And, you know, at that 50 shield right now, has that gray shotgun in hand. It's not what you really want. Has a good AUG to go ahead, is Cappy over here. And, of course, that utility item being the pulse scanner or the sonar scanner. To go ahead and show players in the area. That's kind of nice to go ahead and get a couple of eliminations off the bat. Good shots over there. 40 headshot damage followed by the white damage as well. That player very, very low as X-Man down low. Pistol in hand upon respawning. Trying to play it safe. Trying to play life. Doesn't want to get knocked again. 21 Cypher gets taken out by Cappy. And the insta-kill. There's a Chug Jug as well. There's the Dilbits. There's all the loot you could possibly want. Some gold to go ahead and buy some things from the black market as well. We've only lost 2 teams within this so far. Cappy right now with 2 golden guns has the advantage on weaponry in this fight on that player that's slowly building up. Other Cappy pushes up very, very close and personal. And with that AUG now trying to beam out the sky. Glider gets pulled by that player, but oh, not good enough. 27 from that AUG mid-air will get the knock on Josh Max. And then taking the launch pad as well up close and personal to push up close, look for any remaining teammates, and get the confirm on that elimination.
That is a nasty knock. Clay pigeon shooting at its finest. And that pigeon was unfortunately not long for this world. Yet another knock to come through here for PRG. So they're going to be feeling very good with that. And it looks like they just show no signs of slowing down. They've now spotted out some more potential victims, and Cappy looking to run them down. Absolutely zero chill, running straight into them. Another clay pigeon shot. I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen twice, but it does. And of course, Cappy channeling his inner Elsa, I suppose, gonna glide his way across. But buildings have popped up in his face here, and gonna try and deny that final kill to come through. However, teammate Cappy there to try to back him up and to try and secure that final kill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are just armed and dangerous within this right now as they push through. And yes, that is a Marvel Rivals pun. We are doing Marvel jokes, and PRG just keep going again and again and again. And they're looking for more right now as X-Man building up to height. The quick edits, the cone placed down, looking for where the opponent has run off to. 12 with that shotgun from distance. 77 up close and personal. Kevin gets taken out. RHB loses a player, and a quick confirm on that elimination as well. And they are looking for more. They've got that black market close by. They've got some other players close by as Cappy right now up close and personal with Diogo. Diogo trying to use that fridge as cover, but you know, it might not have been a double door fridge over there, so wasn't enough cover to protect from PRG.
I mean, there's nothing better than a double door fridge, but unfortunately, when you don't have one, you do suffer. Speaking of suffering, a couple of teams already suffering. We've had a few getting wiped out very early on. PRG showing no signs of slowing down. They've clearly spotted out another team and are just out for blood. Meanwhile, across the rest of the map, there aren't that many engagements happening. This really is PRG just deciding we're going to take down every single team that we can find, and they've just taken down yet another one. But, you know, I am kind of curious as to where our friends over at Edgemead are, if they're still around in this lobby. You know, we were talking about what their tactic is going to be coming into this one, and how are they going to play this? Are they going to play a little bit more W key heavy? Are they going to play back a little bit more? And, well, it looks like they are kind of playing for the more strategically sound plays.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, playing for that placements, which you speak of how important it is. It gives you the most or the biggest points for the leaderboard as well. And I mean, 16 players left alive, 16 teams, sorry, 40 players left alive. It's a very, very slow game. Everyone's just in the feeling out process right now. Like you mentioned earlier, you don't want to get eliminated early on and lose your opportunity to get more points. So that's why we are getting this much time to just chill and enjoy the vibes. And then we switch over to PRG, and it's just them gunning down every single team in the area. But we move over to Ty Boss, Marshmallow, and Mochi in Magic Mosses. There is the option for the black market over here to go ahead and, you know, spot out some good, fancy, prime-time loot down below in the basement. Not too sure if anyone actually landed here for that loot whatsoever. We talk about Edgemead. They're just off to the west. There is that team down low in there currently. But Mochi and the rest of the squad just gonna move right past that down towards Brutal Boxcars. T-Scorpion sitting alone in Brutal Boxcars as well. Not sure if that was a solo or if they've just lost their teammates. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this many teams in a nearby area. Marshmallow actually gets shot at over there on the rotate from the players just across the river. And Lighty shooting down the builds, which is a reboot. It was down teammates that are being brought back by Scorpion at Brutal Boxcar.
Down to 15 teams. Okay, things have really slowed down. It feels like teams are playing a lot more safely where they can, but obviously we've got a couple of teams that are not really allowing for that safer attempt at positioning. But it is good to see that, you know, teams are looking to try and survive that a little bit longer. We're talking about how important placements are as opposed to KP, and KP obviously is important. Those 20 kills propelled PRG to a ridiculous scoreline, but it wouldn't have been quite so high without that first place. So you want to make sure that you can stay in a good spot for as long as possible. Now it looks like we might have another little kerfuffle starting shortly, as teams will continue to fall off screen. I like this. Lowen's. Oh my goodness, brother!
I don't like this.
That did no. He didn't like. Nobody likes it. Nobody liked that. That was rough, man. Because you think you're behind cover, you think you're safe, and you just get beamed down out of existence. That's a rough way to go out, man.
That is insane. There's still a team in Magic Masters, by the way, in that black market as well. They have the option to rift out from the NPC there as well. But what a beam over there on Tybos. That is insane. Just a little bit. I think the arm was maybe sticking out just a little bit too much, and the advantage was taken on that KB now. Player above them. Trying to build up quickly after a couple of shots on enemy builds. Spots out where they are. Builds height ever so quickly. Now trying to edit in. Misses the shotgun shot initially, but does enough damage over there to go ahead and crack the player. Thermite down. There's a supernova happening. And KB manages to go ahead, steal that player away. Fireman's caddy throws them towards teammates. Such an important thing as well. Not allowing a sneaky revive to go through. A whack deep in a box battle right now. Takes out FNC's champion. Easy cleanup. Just like that, immediately. A refresh on the ammo. A refresh on heals. A refresh on builds. Ever so important builds. Double chug jugs going on for them to heal. And AWAC spots another in the distance. And starts spraying down as well. Sees the med mist in the distance as well. Knows that they are healing up from the storm. But gonna opt to play with the team and not push out. Not be overly aggressive. And not make mistakes.
Nice little stockpile there as well, which is always super helpful to be able to swap out to whatever you need very, very quickly, depending on, are you being pushed? Are you taking a long range battle? Like what do you need in a particular moment? And of course, a little stockpile of med kits never goes amiss. So have that available to you for in case of emergency. And well, we already said it. This is a team that's looking to hold on to that second place, if not get up to first. So having all of that available will certainly enable them that little bit more. Look at these teams now towards the Foxy Floodgate. Like 4 different teams here, dangerously close to one another. And speaking of dangerous, half the lobby has now been, more than half the lobby has now been eliminated, falling like flies. And it feels like this lobby's gone a little bit faster than that previous one. I think in the first lobby, teams are kind of feeling things out a little bit, seeing what the competition's like, seeing how aggressive they can afford to be. And now they've just decided, all right, well, first lobby, it's a bit of a warm-up, done and dusted. Now we can get a little bit cheeky with it. And so things have sped up, but it's going to hit a plateau as we get closer to like 6-5 teams. It's going to slow down massively.
I mean, at the end of that, the first Premier game, we entered zone number 6 or 7 with, 10 teams remaining? We're at that point now. It's only Storm number 5. 24 players left alive within this. And yeah, it's been going so slow, but so much action has gone down that I didn't even realize that we lost half the lobby already. That is insane right there. Swift now trying to get that edit through. The cone gets edited into the ramp ever so quickly by the opponent. Not able to get that shotgun shot is Swift. That now it flicks as well. They are gonna opt to rotate. The zone is coming in. It will start doing 5 damage per tick very, very soon. Shots from above right now, the mountain above on Flix and the squad, forces them back into this little entranceway of the building just below the floodgate. And now with the zone coming in, they will have to go ahead and make a decision. Which exit do we want to go ahead and take? Yes, we can take the zip lines out from the left entrance, but the team will shoot at us. We will just be standing targets, easy beams for the team above. Or do we just wait here, tank it out a little bit, and then move once that team moves? But that team above is PRG. And we know that PRG has patience. They have the communications, and they are ever so hungry for those eliminations. Flix and the squad, though, they take the zip line up ever so quickly. Jump pad down, just for them to rotate ever so quickly. Quick enough that PRG's sights are not laid on them. Flix opting to go ahead, get him healing mist, pop that HP back up, save the med kits for later. Very smart play, but they have some distance to make up now, because look where that zone is, Sam.
Yeah, but look at Cappy. He's spotted someone. He's got another team in his sights, and he's going to try to push them down. He's run straight past them. Okay. Okay, what are we
think he's
doing here?
gliding.
Oh, that makes sense
That would
then.
make sense.
Oh, that's so like I was getting ready for him to just be trying to solo an enemy team, but I think that they might be setting up a triangle here because they're still
Yeah, he's
aiming
coming
in.
back.
Yeah. They're still
Yeah.
aiming in towards that team. But while that sets itself up, Edgemead in a little bit of a engagement here, looking to try to win this one out, add to that KP. They're up to 5 kills. They're about
Ooh,
half what
kill
they
feed.
had in the previous lobby. So can they get a little bit more done here? They have spotted out someone. Going to be firing down through those builds, firing through that, all those walls that have been thrown up in their faces. KB gets taken down. Dragon dangerously low, 1 HP and a dream. The dream is dead and it's all down to Awak, 34 HP. What do you do here? Can you revive your teammates? Have you managed to do anything? I don't think that there's an opportunity here. Heavily under fire, and that is them taken out. Edgemead, unfortunately, with not a great placing, but I did see PRG in the kill feed a little bit earlier on. It looks like they did get into that engagement, and well, chances are they won it.
I mean, they are gliding in right now. Chances are very high, and oh my god, this zone really needs to chill for these guys. I'm just gonna say that right now. I want to point out over there, Sunny just did enough damage, barely enough damage, so that the Storm took down Dragon and KB. Oh, well, KB got shotgunned at. Dragon got taken out by the Storm over there. Just enough damage over there. Played it perfectly, whether it be on purpose or not. Played it out just long enough to go ahead and survive. Joshy Monkey gets taken out by the Storm over there. You do not want to be caught in that Storm at this point. It's about to do 8 damage per tick on this next Storm closing. 7 teams left alive. 15 players. PRG pushing up above, building to the heights. Trying to get some more eliminations. Just misses that shotgun shot as the wall gets placed. And now they're just playing around this absolute Tower of Doom as they go ahead and take out Ursmut. More kills added on to PRG's name.
They just continue to add notches into that belt. Another death, another pinfalls, and it's another point that they get to add to their tally. 6 squads left now. And this should be where things perhaps even out ever so slightly, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case because look at this. PRG have given themselves the most ridiculous high ground imaginable, and they're just peppering in shots to anyone. I mean, it's not even circle sweeping at this point. It's just unfair. This is a tower defense game, and the tower is winning.
That is insane. Oh, cracking that player in 3 shots, by the way, down low in the tiniest gap of that build. Managing to go ahead and now beaming with that Midas drum gun to go ahead and break down the trees. Such a fast fire rate. They are on 17 kills at this point right now. 13 players in this lobby. 6 teams left alive. The zone shifting all the way to the Golden River. Just to go ahead and, if it wasn't enough of speed in this final few moments, let's get the river that gives you a speed boost when you sprint. Sunny, unfortunately, gets taken out over there by CBK, by Twizzy, and Mythic and Exotic now dropped for the CBK side. Joshi did manage to get back up, the revive coming through, and now just playing it cool, chilling down, trying to play for that higher placement points. As PRG, they're looking for more KP. They don't really care about the placement points. They're like, hey, we'll secure placement points if we get rid of anyone else looking for placement points. And that's what we see right there as Kayan gets taken down.
They just continue to be so freaking scary. Look how many kills they have at the moment. There's like, what is that, 18, 19 kills? I mean, it's outrageous. They already have almost as many kills as they had in the first lobby. And they're looking to better that score. They issued themselves a challenge. They accepted their own challenge. And they will continue to push for that. 19 kills now. 1 away from evening it out. 5 squads left. So many opportunities to better that score. And for every other team in the lobby, come on, Avengers assemble. You have to take out this PRG squad at this point because otherwise on day 1, they are going to run away with this Premier Division.
Correction on that one. We have 3 teams and a final boss. That is PRG as they continue to just walk through this lobby. down to 3 teams just like that. Zone moving south into the storm. I don't even think the zone matters anymore. We're down to 2 teams. Flix is the last one left alive. What can you do against this absolute titan of 3 players? From the 3 most dangerous leaders, all you can do is a baseball bat attempt, and even that is not enough. PRG win both games of your premiere day 1.
And they better their kill score by 2, I believe. They finished with 22 kills in that one. Just absolutely outrageous. This is the Marvel What If where Thanos wins. The Avengers do not assemble. The Avengers did not come into work today. And that is going to be PRG absolutely running away with day 1. And the problem is, so we spoke about how Edgemead needed to try to keep that 2nd place, but let's face it, they probably will have dropped at a 2-point difference. It depends, obviously, on where our 3rd place team, where Knights had found themselves in that lobby, but there's a good chance that there's been a bit of a shuffle in our top 5, except for 1st place. And now that score gap is going to be massive.
I think they did drop because Knights is CBK, and they lasted up until the end over there, until top 5.
There you go.
Whereas Edgemead was, I think, eliminated top 8 or top 7, somewhere along there. So it will be a change for the top 5, definitely. Except for that 1st place, which is just going to be increased in the distance between 1st and 2nd right now. We're getting that scores set up for all of you. But really quickly, this is ASL. This has been going on for quite a while now. This is the 4th year of ASL. We started with term 1 earlier in the year. It was absolutely fantastic. This is term number 2 starting. This is week 1 out of 8 weeks for term number 2. All of this in partnership with ASA for Education, making things possible for all of these guys. ACGL doing the most for everything over here, pushing these guys to a LAN later this year, towards end of July, beginning of August, somewhere around in those dates. Which is AGC. We had it last year at UCT. It was an absolute blast. These guys who are in primary school and high school, managing to be at their first LAN, managing to meet the pros that inspired them to go ahead and do these LANs, do these tournaments, getting to meet and greet with the people that's inspired them, and then of course the heroes meeting who they've inspired as well, and the support coming from parents, teachers, schools. It's absolutely incredible. It will be happening again this year, and that's what this is all for. But Sam, the leaderboard scoring is done. Would you like to take us through it?
Man, I'm scared. Oh, 214 points, bro. How do you even, like, what is your recourse at that point? That's 110-point difference between 1st and 2nd. I will say, Edgemead, I think this is because of their high KP in that one, but they still managed to, okay, they're down to 4th place or 3rd place, considering, depending on how you consider that kind of tied up 2nd, 3rd. But it's only a 2-point difference. So it's not like they've completely slid down the standings into, complete and total obscurity.
They did enough.
They did enough to stay in that top 5, which is really, really cool for them. But good grief, 214 points. That is an outrageous scoreline to have after 2 lobbies. 2 lobbies!
That's 110-point difference. That's insane.
Bro.
I just want to see. So total, they've had 42 kills.
Yes.
In 2 lobbies.
Yes.
2 lobbies, 42 kills.
Yeah.
I'll let you do the math on that one, chat. I'm not a math guy myself. I'll let you guys do the math over in chat and then just wonder at the fact that they have a 110-point lead in 2 games. That is insane. And that's only day 1 of Premiere. We still have 8 weeks of this, or well, 7 more weeks of this. I mean, if you guys see this action, if you guys love this action, you guys better hit that follow button. Go check out the ACGL website. Go check out the socials for when we do this again, because we do ASL 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, across multiple titles: Fortnite, Valorant, Rocket League. It's an absolute blast. If you want to see more of my face, Ultralism's face from earlier, Sam's face over here, and many other people as well joining in for ASL, then you know what to do. Show up here every week, 3 times a week. But Sam, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
This is day 1, guys. The action will only get more intense from here. We have an entire term ahead of us, and I cannot wait to be a part of it, and I hope to see every single one of you again back here every single week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Do not miss a day. I will know.
Yeah, she will know. She has information. She knows the script. You better be there following the script, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, that's a wrap for ASL on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow for more Fortnite action. Don't miss out. We'll see you tomorrow.